Hello and welcome to the second game day of the Lega Pauper Lipsia. We love paper magic and that's why we're going to bring to you the highlights of our feature match. My name is Philip and with me is the monstrous Moritz himself.
Monstrous today, okay. Last time I was marvelous.
So we have 5 feature matches. The camera is set on table 1. We had some amazing games on the first day and this is what made their way to the final tables of the second stage. Pick it up, Moritz.
Nice, yes, I'm hyped. I haven't seen these matches yet, so of course I was there during the game day and I recorded all the matches and stuff, but I haven't actually seen what the people have been playing at the top table because, spoiler alert, I wasn't there. I was between table 12 and 15 constantly, I would say, so still quite good, but yeah, I'm very happy that these people here again agreed to have this recorded, and then we can now, look over it.
And one thing that has flashed to my eye was actually some Dimir lands and the Sneaky Snacker from the deck that's being shuffled right now. I think that's the deck of Max. Oh, and I see it in the overlay, it's Dimir Fairies. It's one thing I have to say. If you play Sneaky Snacker, this deck is called Dimir Control. This is one of my educational tasks I have forever.
Okay, so you would say that there's the distinguishing between with fairies and without fairies.
Yeah, and I could continue with the 10 minutes, go on it. No, the shortcut is if it plays Modern Age, it's Dimir Control. If it plays fairies here, it's fairies. If it plays Thought Scour, it's Terror. Okay, and we have a turn 1 play here. Thraben Inspector from the Weenie side.
Nice. Okay, so classical start. This is Dimir Fairies against Mono White aggro. Which version of Mono White we will probably see over the course of the game.
And already a Sneaky Snacker hardcast. This is like the playing not for the value, but just sticking to the board plan of presenting a flying blocker or attacker, I guess.
I guess so. I haven't seen the hand quite yet, if there's an easy way to get the snacker back into play, like for example with a brainstorm or something. But yeah. Okay, core Skyfisher coming in, so the Sneaky Snacker as a blocker has kind of solved itself. Okay, there's a brainstorm, there's a snuff out, there's a thorn in hand. And the last cards I can't quite make out. But what do you say? What's the plan of the Dimir player here?
So I think this is actually a decent matchup for Dimir. Depending on some sweepers, like if Dimir runs Suffocating Fumes, it gets a lot easier. Post-board you have Arms of Hadar to get rid of the worst cards or the most problematic stuff. But you can kind of outgrind White Weenies if things go regularly. And yeah, with the hand of the Dimir deck, I think this early snacker is already setting up to block on the turn where the monarch comes down. And here we also see like quite the aggressive snuff out to take no natural damage from the attacker. But I think it's also, I see Dimir setting up for this Thorn already.
Yeah, same. I think also Snuff Out on the Skyfisher is a target that you could hit, which is like something you're not really that mad about. Yeah.
Wow.
Putting back the land instead of the Inspector. So
White Weenie is already on 2 clues, and they had a hand on this Inspector to take it back to hand, but they choose instead to go for the like high tempo, high aggression line of picking up a land, which I'm actually not really fond of. I think you can. It's barely ever feasible, I have the feeling. Or do you have another feeling, Moritz?
I honestly don't know. I don't know why you would prefer having the Inspector in play to attack for the next turn. Like if you see that the Thorn is coming down, the Thorn would be blocking anyways. So it's probably because they didn't have any land in hand and no way of getting an extra land, maybe, or I can't really tell why you would bounce a land here.
So I think this match typically goes beyond like turn 8 or is maybe decided on turn 8 or something, and on turn 8 like having one more clue is relevant. And I mean, if you don't have any other land drop, it might seem feasible to use this missing land drop with this kind of play, but I think 5 turns from now we will see that that White Weenie wants to draw this card that they kind of now missed due to tempo reason, but I don't think White Weenie is gonna aggro down Dimir.
I think what's much more interesting is Dimir doesn't, like, did they miss a land drop last turn?
I thought the same.
And they are also stuck on a single blue right now, so there's the only way. I mean, you have the spell stutter, which currently hits for 2, but do you even discard a spell stutter? Because, I think the Dimir player is not planning on casting any spell stutter soon because he is stuck on the 1 blue.
Yeah, it's like the typical early brainstorm into nothing. So I think the first brainstorm they casted was turn 2 or turn 3, and if I remember correctly, they didn't find a land, and then they also had no way to shuffle. So, yeah, now they were stuck on no land drops until they hit this Modern Age. And White Weenie discarding Strands to the Rafine's Informant. And now the Dimir side is seeing themselves into such trouble as to now lose this blocker. So maybe this plan of the early Thorn is off the table now already.
Yeah, this is definitely done. I mean, 2 Skyfishers and a Rafine's Informant on board, and you are currently on 3 lands.
Oh, nice. But we see a second snacker being discarded with Modern Age, so there is at least a potential of Dimir stabilizing the board late once they hit these brainstorms or Modern Age triggers with Preordained together.
What do you say here? The decision was to pass the turn because, of course, with Brainstorm you can get the snackers back also in the enemy's turn, but the problem is they come in tapped, so they cannot block. So wouldn't it be maybe better to use the Brainstorm to find a land drop?
Yeah, could be argued. But
okay. Now we now see why.
No, but still, you could blue open.
True. Yeah, it would still have been better probably to find the land drop and get the snackers back.
Actually, the best brainstorm is always the latest possible. Maybe they have another play, but yeah, 1 blue up on the Dimir deck. That's only brainstorm or spell pierce, I think, or dispel. So either they don't have anything, or I can't see no reason why they didn't try to make the land drop. And now it's happening where Dimir can really be behind on tempo. And there is the brainstorm. So they now draw 3 cards, get 2 snackers back. But in response...
okay, yeah, this is GG. This is GG, right? Come on.
I mean, yeah, now it's tough. Like now White Weenie has 2 flying threats, 2 ground threats, and Dimir is on 5 life and still trying to find their 4th land drop, and Dimir plays a pace of once you hit 4 lands, you can answer 2 things every turn. So, okay, now at least they got the Vector Glider as a blocker from the Modern Age, but this is now the state of the game where Dimir can get outpaced. If they don't develop correctly, they can fall back. They can probably survive this turn, but they're in big trouble here.
And I see a Snuff Out, Spell Stutter, still a Thorn, and a land in hand. So I think you have a Vector Glider on board, you flash in the Spell Stutter to have another blocker, but then I think from this position on, winning is kind of hard. You're just not dying right now.
Yeah, and the problem is like 3 of the White Weenies attacker don't die to the Vector Glider block.
Snuff Out Hardcast on the Rafine's Informant, get rid of 1, so you can block the 1 Skyfisher.
Yeah, or they can block the ground guy and take 4, go to 1.
But the veteran can be
risky, and there's Guardian Pledge.
Okay, Guardian's Pledge, okay.
Okay, so you see, I think everything that White Weenie did is answerable for Dimir, but you need to develop into it, and this whole plan of probably... I have the feeling they wanted to slam this Thorn on turn 4 if the board is correct, and they played towards this with the hard cast of the Snacker and instantly snuffing out the Skyfisher, although they also had cast down, I think. So I think they set it all up to have an empty-ish board on turn 4 and use being on the play. Because I think post-board, this Thorn will not be in the main deck anymore.
I also think Thorn has to go. I also find it quite interesting that being stuck on lands, I mean, White Weenies has a lot of creatures that are like CMC2, CMC1. So especially the core Skyfisher, you can easily spell stutter once you have a Snacker in play. And usually the White Weenie player doesn't respond with removal to that because either it's too early in the turns or the Thraben Charm removal is kept for actual graveyard hate for the Snackers. But yeah, we didn't see a single spell stutter succeeding here. We didn't see a single counter spell. So I think being stuck on lands and then brainstorming into not enough. And then having, of course, the Thorn as a dead card in hand, that was probably too much. What do you see in the sideboard of the Dimir player?
Yeah, I have Max's sideboard, the Dimir sideboard open. So like on their main board, they play one Suffocating Fumes. This will stay in probably. They have a Murmuring Mystic in the main. I could see that staying in as well. And then in the sideboard, they have 2 Arms of Hadar, 2 Dispel, and 2 Nihil Spellbomb. The 2 Arms of Hadar will go in for sure. This spell could go in against Thraben Charm and the Guardian's Pledge. Yeah, I think this will go in. And 2 Spellbomb could go in if they wanted to fight like the flashback cards of the Weenies deck. And let me check the white deck as well. That's Edgar.
Let's check which version of... okay, they have one summon Chocomog, actually, and play Pack Beast, which is really interesting, which we haven't seen yet in the main. And in the sideboard... Yeah, but other than that, it's a classical, like, 3 copies of Guardian's Pledge, 3 Strands, Thraben Charms, so...
I think they have kind of nothing against Dimir. Or do you see anything here? In the sideboard, at least.
Flag Bearer to aid the removal. No.
Not gonna happen.
No, they actually have nothing, right?
They have creature removal, they have artifact removal, they have life gain, and they have combo prevention, and none of this is against Dimir. So, yeah.
I mean, maybe you can board in the Sunlands that deals 3 damage to a non-white creature to get rid of the Vector Glider, which is an annoying card, but you don't want to use Thraben Charm for it maybe. But other than that, I think just play to the board and do your thing, because Dimir kind of answers 1 for 1, and with all your clues and all your you can still like draw. There's no Bugler in the main board, so I think with the Bugler often is kind of a good way of getting more cards at Void Weenies.
So I think that both decks, you cannot answer their creatures 1 for 1. Like Vector Glider, Sneaky Snacker, everything like pops off value before you can kill it. And on the White Weenie side, it's either 1 card creates 3 creatures, or the creature also draws a card. So cards like Cast Down and Thraben Charm on the creatures is sometimes needed, but in the long run, not a good idea, like not an amazing play. You need to like outgrind the other deck, and I think the sweepers versus the mass pump effects is what's mainly gonna settle this, because with those cards you can answer a lot of stuff with 1 card, and the rest I think just comes down to who draws more cards, and maybe White Weenie can try to aggro again.
Yeah, early turn we have a Modern Age and discard a land this time, so I think the Dimir player is at least not stuck on lands. Currently only 2 blue in play, but I think a tap land in hand that's not going to be played. White Weenie developed with 2 Inspectors early on, so 2 clues already, curving out a really nice, but having to play a tapped land as a White Weenie player always feels bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because in that moment you cannot do one of your you cannot do a Skyfisher or a Fiend's Informant is the ideal turn 2 play. So you are kind of stuck on swinging in with Inspectors right now, but that's fine. Already 3 damage dealt. Another Inspector hitting the field. 3 clues now. Missing a land drop, I think. So I think that was the past turn. So now the Dimir player is gonna search for another land. And Weenie missed a land drop. And is deciding that the board development is worth more than cracking a clue to find one.
Yeah, that's true. Apparently, like an Inspector is a pretty good card against a cast down deck, I would say. And maybe they just want to chip in enough damage to put Dimir on like 15 or 12 life to begin with and hope they draw out of this naturally. On the other hand, Dimir has this game successfully progressed into their 4-land setup. I would say 4 lands, maybe 5 lands is usually what this deck needs. In the later game, of course, you want more as well. And in the hand, okay, now first of all, we see a Brainstorm, so they are actually digging for stuff. And they found... it's Preordain. I don't know these new artworks. So what they actually find is a Arms of Hadar, and I think this is just what they take. The other card goes to the bottom. So they have a way now to resolve this board, and I would assume that they will wait longer because they have a Vector Glider now that eats one of the Inspectors if they attack him, and without getting too low on life, and they can just wait and see if Edgar presents more creatures with 2 toughness.
Yeah, very comfortable place for the Dimir player because you can now afford to progress your game plan and have 2 mana open for a counterspell. And you see while Weenie stuck on 2 lands, so there's currently only a single action they can do each turn, basically, when they don't draw lands. So counterspelling the Thraben Charm to keep the Vector Glider alive is quite good. Because
and yet it's also pretty good for white, I would say, because the counterspells are the only cards that can deal with Guardian's Pledge. Unless Dimir boarded in the Dispel. So like trading a removal spell like Thraben Charm against a counter spell can help White Weenie in the long run. Like if the board ever comes to a stall. But here, I mean, it seemed worth it for Dimir to keep this really nice blocker online. And we're gonna have the same fight again. There's Thraben Charm on Vector Glider again. And let's see if Max can and wants to respond again.
I think it's not bad because you're currently blocking all the creatures that are on the board. Plus, Thraben Charm is not used on your graveyard, which at some point will be relevant once the snackers are actually drawn. Tapping out for probably Lorien here. Yeah, drawing 3 cards feels so good. You're not pressured on the board right now. You're casting Lorien. You drew your second Arms of Hadar. So I think the comfortable spot for Dimir right now.
Yes. And I just wanted to say, I would predict that this game is won by the person who has more cards in hand. So right now they're pretty equalish. They're 6 versus 5. Weenie is down 2 lands though. And it's like, I would say it's kind of this old school pauper battle. Like you play, both decks play only fair cards in a sense. Like Sneaky Snacker would be the most unfair thing. And you answer creatures 1 for 1. Now we see a Destroy Evil.
Yeah, Destroy Evil.
Getting rid of the enchantment creature Vector Glider. And Weenie's trying to grind it away with clues and some tempo.
That's interesting. Yeah, they bought a Destroy Evil for more enchantment removal. I mean, why not, right? You can hit the enchantment even while it's generating the draw discard value. So now tapping 4 mana for
Murmuring Mystic, probably.
Yeah, Murmuring Mystic. Which is really great because you've seen now 2 Thraben Charms gone. That would be the removal, like Destroy Evil cannot hit it. So it can? Toughness 4 great, that's not... never mind then, okay. So 3 removals gone still.
Yeah, Yeah, I think that the Murmuring Mystic could be the reason for this Destroy Evil being boarded in. Like when I saw it, I was wondering like only for the modern age, but the Murmuring Mystic could pose such a big problem that White Weenie has to answer it. And now the logic I presented earlier flips on its back. Like I had the feeling that White Weenie is happy to trade their removal for counter spells. And as it turns out now, actually, Dimir can be happy that they traded this way and now stick this Baneslayer Angel type of card that could possibly win them the whole game.
Yeah, also really interesting now, flashbacking the Battle Screech. What the Weenie player, of course, doesn't know is there is a juicy 2 copies of Arms of Hadar in the hand of the Dimir player. So I think one of them will now hit the battlefield, removing the full board, making another bird. So
there it is. And the White Weenie already knows that they pick up the cards so quickly. Do they pick up their lands as well? No, they want to keep playing.
Yeah, they want to keep playing. I don't know. I think they have another Battle Screech in hand, which can at least rebuild some of it. But of course, now with the Murmuring Mystic also in play, and the other Arms of Hadar also in the hand, which of course the Weenie player doesn't know about. But yeah, it looks kind of grim right now. And now the Dimir is actually swinging in for the first time. Yeah, there's the second Battle Screech.
But they cannot flash it back yet. So I saw Dimir missing the last 2 land drops, and in their hand there's Modern Age and Sneaky Snacker, so they need to do some further development, and now they found their island, now they found their Modern Age, so they had 2 turns where they had to kind of tap out for Mystic and Arms of Hadar, and now they're really setting up for the late game. I mean, if you now got the Snacker humming, you got the Modern Age humming, you already got your Mystic online, and you're now facing 2 birds on 9 life, I mean, this is about to be wrapped up, I think.
Yeah, this is Dimir hand currently is cast down, brainstorm, Arms of Hadar. So it's kind of a good hand to have. Probably the Weenie player. What do you say? Does the Weenie player have to force the either you have it or you don't Arms of Hadar by flashbacking the yet another Battle Screech, just developing fully the board in hope that there is no mass removal?
I'm not sure if White Weenie is in the position anymore. I mean, they might scratch this out, but I think like they need to fight over these Arms of Hadar, and I think they kind of need to find their Guardian's pledges to protect their creatures. So unless they have that, maybe they have it in hand now, they have 3 mana open. I was expecting them to set up their board way broader and then fight the fights later, but both players decided to fight the fights pretty early on. And so seeing like this kind of empty board, now it's filling up with birds, that's kind of unexpected. And I don't know if White Weenie can actually come back from an empty board. That's the problem.
Yeah, definitely also not if there's another mass removal in hand and the Mystic will now probably, the birds will now probably hit at least 2 each turn, then 3, then 4 maybe. There's another brainstorm making another bird. Dimir can now find exactly the cards they want. They found Island, Brainstorm, and Spellstutter. Snacker comes back, of course. So yeah, I think as a White Weenie player, you are up 1-0. So I would now probably scoop and go into next. Or do you say that you will grind this out because you're still on 18 life, quite healthy?
So I think the life doesn't matter too much, but what's White got going for them is the 4 clues. They got no cards in hand, but they can draw 4 more. But for them to set up something, they would kind of need to spend like 2 or 3 turns off, I would say now. Like not forcing on combat, not forcing on making damage, just getting themselves in a position to even fight again. And it's very questionable whether Dimir would let them. But if White Weenie tries to fight this one back, I think they need 2 turns just drawing cards, basically, to sculpt something together, because their engine is not really running, and their engine is creatures on the board, and the Dimir engine is like fully humming, and they have 4 cards in hand. So, okay, now they are drawing the cards, and they're even drawing them in their own turn. So they try to find some permanents to play, I guess. And they find an inspector, which produces more clues. All this stuff takes some time to set up, but at least now they got 3 creatures again. What do you think they could find that snowballs these 3 creatures into a victorious position again, if anything?
Dimir player also deciding that the inspector is not hitting the field, not producing another clue, so effectively the turn of the White Weenie player was cancelled. Yeah, I don't know. I think as a White Weenie player, you're really staring into the depth of nothing right now. So you're hoping that what are you hoping that your clues find? You still have like something like Pact Beast, which at least doesn't get Arms of Hadar removed. There's a Skyfisher that doesn't get Arms of Hadar removed. The Shokomok, but realistically, you now see a lot of birds, a lot of evasive flying creatures. A Snacker Engine, 6 mana that the Dimir player can constantly hold open, probably. So
yeah, I think I'm now with you, Moritz. Like, this spell starter should have finally showed the White Weenie deck what the Dimir is all capable of, and this is like a big houser of small creature decks. And I mean, now the attack already starts to look menacing. This is 7 damage, and this is probably not gonna diminish much for the rest of the game. So at this point now, I would agree that saving some time.
Oof. Ui. Mukutai Ambusher picking up with Ninjutsu the spell starter. Now the Weenie player decides that it's time to prevent that combat damage so that there's no life gained. You also prevent the snacker damage. No, you don't. Actually, you don't, because you get counterspelled.
Okay, now so Dimir is now showing its muscles. Like, this is like the most unnecessary counterspell in the world, and they still decide to pull it just to go like, no, I'm not gonna lose this 1 creature or this 5 damage. I mean, these creatures and this 5 damage are not gonna make the difference. Dimir has maneuvered themselves in a position where, it's kind of a game lock.
I think they might have gained 1 life too much from 9 to 13. I think Mukutai just has 3 attack, but the Weenie player, I think now trying the last thing, playing another Battle Screech, flashing back the Battle Screech. So now there will be an Arms of Hadar and a Handshake. At least for this one, or going into the next game probably.
They still have the Arms of Hadar?
I think they still have the Arms of Hadar, yeah. They have it comfortably in hand. They shuffled it to the front of their hand.
Not that they need it, but they're going to use it to seal the deal. And now the White Weenie does not only pick up the creatures, they also pick up the lands, and it's time for the game 3. But okay, we've seen it now for some 2 minutes, and I think for the White Weenie perspective, if there is enough time on the clock, you really want to see this, because you see that you're playing against a strategy that poses some problems, and you just keep playing against it, so you can find out how to beat it. And from what we have seen now, what do you think would be the angle of White Weenies now on the game 3? They're on the play, they can board again. I don't know if they need that, but what do you think? How could they adapt the game plan, or what should they set their bet on?
I think that was the hand was very removal heavy, then missing land drops, so there was no real tempo on the board. There was only like inspectors, and as soon as the modern age flipped, the inspectors are also worth nothing. So I think being a little faster with probably like a Rafine's Informant or an early Skyfisher could be really great. Definitely not missing land drops would be great, but sometimes you have only limited control over that. I wouldn't... just getting rid of... I think the removal you probably want to see during the game and not in your opening hand.
Yeah, and also if you see it in your opening hand, I would assume that it's a good strategy here to like hold on to it until the moment where like 1 removal clears or 2 removal clear the way for like a bigger attack. Like if you use a Thraben Charm on turn 3 to deal 2 damage, with the 2 Inspector that can now connect. I mean, you gain something, and maybe they can connect next turn again, but the other deck can react as well. But if you have a board of 10 creatures, and you remove the 2 Vector Gliders, now all of a sudden there is you can convert this removing the blocker. But I mean, then again, you run into the risk of losing it all. So where's the sweet spot? How many creatures would you present to this Arms of Hadar deck?
I think the sweet spot is presenting your 3 toughness creatures. So I think the sweet spot is putting on early pressure with an Inspector, maybe an Informant, but pretty soon finding your Skyfisher, your Pack Beast, your Shokomog. We haven't seen the Shokomog is a one-off apparently in this deck. So of course, we haven't seen it yet. But
what is that again?
That is the new Final Fantasy Summon Saga, which is a 3/3 enchantment creature that also has 4 Saga modes basically that buffs all the other creatures +1/+0. And it's costing 3 mana, so it curves really nicely into a turn 1 Inspector, turn 2 Informant, turn 3 Shokomog. That would be, I think, one of the ideal lines that you are now that you can present on the play right now, because you're back on the play, so you should really make the Dimir player have it, basically, by forcing them to make their land drops, setting up their engine, and having removal. Which is, as a Dimir player, probably not so easy to have everything at once.
Oh, nice. And we see the familiar. It's a flying 1/1 for 1 mana, and it has the ability to sack itself to counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its controller pays 1. So if the Dimir deck ever taps out for an instant or sorcery, can get countered by sacking this creature. It's a nice protection piece. And I think a pretty sweet start, because you can, if you want to, even prevent an early brainstorm with this. And coming back to the discussion, I think the magical number here is 3 toughness on both sides. The Vector Gliders, they will survive almost all of the attacks of White Weenie, and the Skyfishers will survive the Arms of the Hadar. And for now, we have a 1/1 and a 1/2, and a Sneaky Snacker that will just trade with either of these. But again, all of these creatures have kind of a value attached to them, so just getting rid of them doesn't solve the whole problem of overwhelming your opponent. And so I think it will come down again to who outgrinds.
Yeah, definitely. Blocking the Inspector with the nicer artwork here. Good choice for the Dimir player. But the Snacker is interesting because essentially you're locking up the Familiar on attacking, because the Familiar is just too valuable. This cannot trade with a Snacker. So you block that up, at least the 1 damage right now. Cycling Lorien for an island. So at least we are hitting our land drops.
Oh, and there is one thing I'm not sure whether White Weenie is aware of yet, and that is Suffocating Fumes. And that's a 3 mana instant, which puts -1/-1 on all opposing creatures. And that is a card that can change a lot of math in this match, because the Inspectors don't get hit, but all the birds do. And now we see a Sneaky Snacker being hardcast again.
And also interesting that Weenie didn't have a proactive play in their turn. They held up 3 mana to now probably cycle for an Idyllic Grange, genau, and then crack a clue probably to draw another card. But yeah, I just thought it's interesting that they didn't use their turn to play onto the board.
Yeah, and from the Dimir side, you kind of want to get super value out of the Snacker all the time, and that's obviously by discarding it and then getting it back with a Brainstorm or something. But here I think this claim is either they don't have anything else to do.
Okay. They forgot to crack the clue at the end of the turn, which I was almost calling out, but yeah, the opposing, the Dimir player says, yeah, it's fine, you can still do it at the end of my turn, it's fine.
Nice, they managed it on the table. But you can also, coming back to what I just said, you can also hardcast these Snackers, and the Dimir side, I think, either does not have much else going, or they're just fine just buying some time. I mean, having 2 Snackers in the grave opens you up for a then pretty sweet Thraben Charm. But to me, this is just saying, yeah, White Weenie, you show me what you got. I can just play this blah blah game and at some point close it out with everything.
Oh, interesting now. So Battle Screech, then snuffing out the...
But now the Familiar is online. They could have cracked the Familiar here to prevent the snuff out. But they were either not aware or they wanted to save it for later.
I think right now you're saving the Familiar only for the sweepers, because now your angle of attack is the Battle Screech, and they have a Guardian's Pledge in hand. So I think the angle of attack of the White Weenie player right now is develop board, swing with a Guardian's Pledge, and if the enemy then, the cast down is probably fine as long as it's not a suffocating fumes or anything that clears towards that way, because we have seen on turn 3 they didn't have a creature drop, right? So now on turn 4 we see Battle Screech, so I think the angle of attack right now is only Guardian's Pledging to win.
Well, I think the Familiar can be seen as it's not a protection against the sweeper. It's like a delay. You delay the Arms of Hadar until Dimir has 5 lands in play, and you delay Suffocating Fumes until they have 4 mana. I'm kind of surprised they didn't cash it in here, like that they didn't cash in the Familiar on the snuff out, but yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe they have a possibility to get more of it.
I think you don't also cash it in because then you still have the creature for the pledge. So it's one more creature. It's at least a protection against the sweeper the next turn. So now you have a definite connect with a Guardian's Pledge, which is now, if we see 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 damage, you can block 1. So that's 12 damage. There's a cast down in hand of the Dimir player, so probably 1 gets removed, but still you're putting down the Dimir player quite a lot here. So.
And the Guardian's Pledge can actually get spell stuttered. I don't know if Dimir has a spell stutter, or get counterspelled, or cast down on a bird, which puts you to 3 lives. So there's stuff you can do, but you're right, now there's this Guardian, and you cannot do that. You can only spell stutter.
You can only spell stutter, and I think that's also why the White Weenie player currently thinks a lot about this turn, because otherwise it's quite obvious that you now have to pledge and swing in. But he's proactively removing probably one of the snackers. So so if he has a land drop now, let's hope they have a land drop, because then they could pledge.
But they don't.
But they don't. No.
Okay, so they removed a blocker to chip in for the full damage. They also took away 1 chance to exile the snackers, so they're really going for tempo. Like in a control-y value approach, you would let these snackers block and use the Thraben Charm on the graveyard, I would say, to get rid of the incremental value for the Dimir. But they decided to just remove the blocker and hit them for 5. So get it over with.
Yeah, now the Brainstorm really wants to find a sweeper here, because a Suffocating Fumes would be ideal, because you can already, with the things on board, pay the 1 extra that the Familiar is gonna force you to. But yeah, finding a Brainstorm, getting the Snacker instantly back, so the Thraben Charm basically just got 1 more damage in and prevented maybe 1 creature from dying, but
I think this is really the beauty of the Dimir deck. Like, they did nothing this game but cast Sneaky Snackers and cast Brainstorms. And I mean, they're starting to die here, but yeah, those 2 cards itself present so much value.
Oh wow! Oh,
yes.
Tapping out for the, like, almost tapping out for the Murmuring Mystic here. You kind of know that the White Weenie player only has interaction in hand, right? Because the White Weenie player is not playing to the board and keeping mana open. So I think you expect to have some interaction from the White Weenie player, and I think, I don't know, tapping out. Would you say you're that desperate that you have to do it, or would you instead fake that you have something in hand?
I think the Dimir kept probably like a semi-optimal hand, or a hand that needed help, because they didn't have early development, and they don't have the tools to deal with the board. Like have a sweeper or have a modern age, then you can develop naturally. But here you see they have to cast the snackers, and now they cannot follow it up with some really meaningful play. And we're not sure whether they have this spell in hand because they have 1 mana open, but actually this Familiar is locking down the options of Dimir so well. Like even if they had a dispel, they could have not cast it here. Maybe to make 1 bird, but yeah.
There's a Guardian's Pledge that we've talked about, and that's GG. Yeah.
Yes, Dimir getting beaten down by Guardian's Pledge.
Yeah, I think the only way to be in that game was to, with the last brainstorm, find a removal, like a mass removal, like a board clear.
Yeah.
Probably Suffocating Fumes would have been easily enough because it were all 1/1s.
Yes.
So I think this was the only way, but the Dimir player didn't find it. Instead found the Mystic, was probably on desperation mode, slammed it, and then GG. So that's 2-1 for the White Weenie player, with I think this time a much better board progression than in game 2.
Yes, I think you called out that they also missed some spots to cast creatures, but the few creatures they had, like 3 creatures, then 5 creatures, they converted these into constant damage and then sealed the deal with some interactive cards that were enough, because if the Dimir side doesn't find the right cards in time, then on turn 5 they can be dead to a lot of strategies. Because surviving a White Weenie's attack with just sneaky snackers is not enough. Finding 1 Arms Avatar makes all the difference.
I think missing not developing the creatures was mostly, I think, only because they didn't have it in hand. I think in this matchup, at least, I think we didn't see the White Weenie player holding back creatures from playing to the board. I think being on the play and then just aggressively slamming creatures, swinging in, was this the right call also? Because then you've called it also out. The Dimir player had to hardcast Snacker, then block, then get him back with a Brainstorm, which the Brainstorm didn't find anything meaningfully to further develop the plan. Okay, going over to the next game. I think that was quite a nice game 1 actually. A little bit grindy, but I think that's what you expect in this matchup. Now we go over to match number 2, and we have a High Tide on the left and Elves on the right. So what's your take on this? They're currently battling out who starts.
Well, what comes first to mind, we have Hans on High Tide, who we've seen on the first stages. Hans was the player who kept on comboing with his Stream of Thought removed. So we have like a really hardcore,
I remember that one, yeah.
Like a really hardcore combo player. And on the other side we have Jakob, a local, playing Elves, his pet deck, and running it on the colored version. No spy iterations. He's running 13 forests and a bunch of like regular setup for Elves.
Nice. So we see a more classic Elves deck against High Tide right now. What do you see? I mean, there's a first drop right now from the Elves player. What do you say? Who's favored in this matchup? I could imagine that Elves is capable of killing turn 4, but High Tide is also capable of comboing turn 3 to 4. So what do you say?
Yeah, I think it really comes down to this: what turn can the decks kill? I think there is a 5 or less percent chance that High Tide kills on turn 3. Then High Tide, I would say, has some 50% of killing on turn 4, maybe even more. And then they're pretty sure to kill Elves on turn 5, I would say, unless something goes really wrong. And Elves, on the other hand, and I've seen this playing against Jakob on Elves, Jakob is capable of presenting lethal with Elves on turn 4, and if they know what they're playing against, they would mulligan to a hand that kills. Like, not keep any random 7-card hand and stuff, but maybe, mulligan down to a 5 or a 4 even, that can kill on turn 4 because they have a proper threat assessment with this kind of matchup.
So we already see now Korean Ranger returning a land, untapping the Mana Dork. So for a 3 mana play, which is lead to Stampede. So probably finding quite a lot of creatures here. But that also means that this is the whole turn, basically.
Oh, and this is huge. Like hitting 4 cards, and the cards set them up for either a follow-up of Priest of Titania, which would grant them an even bigger next turn, or a Vanguard, which could present some, at least, decent attack next turn. And then some fodder cards, like Jaspera, I think unlocking colored mana in game 1 doesn't matter. And the end maybe to find one more forest if they need it, or to play it off the priest later on. So pretty huge. They stacked up their hand on turn 2 as a build-up turn. And now they discard to hand size, I think. So they kind of overdid it.
I also think so. Maybe they weren't expecting hitting so many creatures. Discarding an Avenging Hunter and I think one of the Sentinels.
Yeah, they have Avenging Hunter, 2 Avenging Hunter in the main, 4 Hydras, and then as the rest of the finishers is 4 Timberwatch, that's regular, 3 Elvish Vanguard. And the Hunter, I think correctly, they see it's way too slow against High Tide.
One of the issues I see right now for Elves is you haven't really developed your board for a next turn where you have a lot of either a lot of mana or where you can do a lot. So right now, there's going to be a second land drop. So 1, 2, 3 mana available, at least only with lands, and then 4 or 5 with the Mana Dork. So that's 5 mana available. You cannot really do much. You probably play the Priest and a few more Mana Dorks that you have a huge next turn where you kind of rely on hitting a Hydra. But then again, High Tide is already on 3 lands.
But a huge top deck here, I think a forest is actually really relevant. I think them missing the second land drop made it so that...
No, they returned it with Korean.
That's what they did. Okay,
Yeah, they returned it with Korean so they can play Lead to Stampede.
Okay, so no missed land drop and no top deck land drop. But yeah, what it comes down to is that they have to use their turn 2 and their turn 3 now to set up, as you said. And they do this by playing, I think this is Priest of Titania, right? They have a Timberwatch in hand, so this would be probably the follow-up for turn 4, or can they even squeeze it in right now? I'm not too sure, but maybe let's check the High Tide side as well. They made 3 land drops, they played 2 cantrips and a Merchant Scroll, so they're at least on their decent start. Could mean anything, I could say. Like, they could combo off next turn, but looking at their hand, they have a lot of puppetry. Oh, and 1 High Tide. So High Tide already has the setup in hand. And we see the Timberwatch on turn 3. So I think Jakob is just putting the gas. They take all the forests back to hand, have at least this sweet setup of... Oh, it's not a priest, it's a Birklaw, so they can play even more. They just skipped on the priest. They just go for... as much elves as possible to have this Timberwatch count on the next turn. But let's see if they have the next turn.
Yeah, I think there was 2 Sentinels sitting the board. I would take that already as a feedback. I put a bright lamp next to them, like a softbox, but I think the softbox was a little too bright. So on the right side, some of the cards you cannot really distinguish, but we're here to guide you through that. But for the next time, we'll definitely adjust that.
It's a puzzle, right? You know, it's a mystery card, and you have to understand the board to understand what cards are hidden in the fog.
And also, you don't really care. It's probably an elf. So
what elf? What effect? It doesn't matter, right? Okay, so we see the turn 4, and we see the turn 4 High Tide. And now I think Jakob, he puts his hand into his lab and sees what High Tide can make of it. It's a 2 puppetry start, and I think at least 1 more arcane in hand, a Lorien in hand. And so what it comes down to is whether these first arcanes they play can set up the chain. And with 3 puppetry, they cast every arcane for 5 mana and make currently 6 mana of it. So they're 1 mana positive.
Nice. Found an Ideas Unbound, which is the card you definitely want to see right here. There were also Hidden String in High Tide. Oh, he's reconsidering. Maybe actually he wants the High Tide instead. But I think, you have to combo off right here, because if you have the Timberwatch and the elf player has another Korean in hand, then next turn would have been lethal. Because then you can double untap the Timber Watch, which buffs currently for 6. So then with the Quirion on board, it's 7. So that's 7, that's 21. Yeah, because you can untap him 2 times, so he can trigger 3 times. So you have to...
You can do some nice shenanigans though with puppetries.
Oh, true.
With instant speed arcane spells and psychic puppetry, you can tap down the creatures, but I tried it against Jakob once, and it's really good against the Priest of Titania if you tap it in the upkeep, because that loses the mana. But if you try to tap a Timberwatch Elf, the pump will still happen, and you cannot kind of tap the relevant attackers, because Timberwatch turns all of them relevant. But yeah, you can at least prevent some damage. So High Tide, going off to find their second High Tide. I was wondering, we changed a bit of the production. Could we increase the speed of the combo turn from this point, Moritz?
Yes, definitely. You are free to take over control and use your usual controls here. Right. I think it will become it will lag a little bit, but I think it's still fine. We can still see. So finding the High Tide, playing another High Tide. We're currently on 2 High Tides. Mystery cards in hand are, I think, Lorien.
Yeah, and Jakob is such a great sportsman. Like, when they play against High Tide, they claim that they would rather help the High Tide player set up their mana, set up the everything, and instead of giving them a hard time hating them. And you can see it here, Jakob helping them to set up the High Tide count on their very foily, shiny card. And okay, with the speed up, you were trying to tell the hand. I'm sorry, Moritz.
Yeah, but now the High Tide player also says, you know what? I would just reveal my hand, and we can now play together, basically.
Yeah, run away together.
The Lorien was kind of hidden information, but the High Tide player now says, you know what? Come on, let's do it like this. I will probably maybe they gained enough confidence that they will actually succeed with the combo now, that they don't mind.
Yeah, or die. Like, I think once you cast like 2 or 3 Ideas Unbound, you know that, or like you cast 2 High Tides or something, you know there's no turning back. So
there's a Petals. I think I've seen the Petals of Insight, which is the shortcut for the combo. You have cast enough High Tides, and there's a Stream of Thought revealed from the deck, which can be tutored basically. So yeah,
there's just a casual thumbs up from Jakob. I love it.
Jakob is like, yeah, I get it. I die.
Yes, well done. Okay, so let's see what can happen, because now comes the strength of Jakob's multicolor sideboard, and we're gonna set up the overlay fix, and I think we found a way to present you the sideboards. No, we're gonna talk through it, and now comes the shining part of Jakob's multicolored sideboards that he is very fond of. And I think in this case, that's 2 Spell Pierce entering the game. And nothing else of it, I would guess. And probably taking out those 2 Hunters, as they're just too slow and don't help with the rest of the synergy. And what could the High Tide side do here? Oh no. Let's check it out.
I will quickly pull up so that we at least can see the lists. So okay, looking into the sideboard of the High Tide player, we have a bunch of Giga Drowses, Envelop, Hydro, Snap, second Stream of Thought. They have learned. They have learned their bitter lessons.
And also another island, like a 16th island. I don't know if this is against Ponza, or I usually don't understand the basics in the sideboard. Just put them in the main and take them out. But I don't know. There must be a reason for this. And coming in this matchup, I think, is the 3 Snaps, which should look pretty good here. And then I don't know if they see any good usage of Envelope to slow Elves down or Dispel to interact with the interaction. Maybe those, maybe some Giga Drowses, but Snap for sure. Like if you can snap back a Timberwatch Elf or even a Priest of Titania, that should come really good.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that Elves is really dependent on setting up in turn 2 and maybe even 3 to get either the Timberwatch down or the Priest of Titania, which have summoning sickness and need to at least be a whole turn on the board so they can provide any value. And in those crucial turns, if you can just snap them back to the hand, that's pretty good.
Yeah, or if you can answer like a Hydra that entered, it can at least save you from like some 5 damage. So I also see like Jakob's path to use turn 3 and 2. Turn 2 and 3. Oh, nice. We even see the hand, but that was too quick. There's at least a Hydra. Use turn 2 and 3 to create lots of mana and possibly already a Timberwatch if possible. And then just try to seal it on turn 4. I mean, that's kind of the only thing you can do unless they want to use Spell Pierce to prolong the game.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea. At least you have your... Yeah, but as Elves, you rarely ever leave mana open or anything. And of course, for the Spell Pierce, you would need 2 Elves.
You asked that to Jakob.
I would think so. I would think that you play proactively to the board exclusively. High Tide player having a really bad hand. I think there wasn't a single land on the second mulligan right now. And there was Perils of Insight in the starting hand, which is basically a dead card, of course. If you're on the first mulligan, you can just bottom it because you're shuffling your deck with the Merchant Scroll. So your chances of seeing that during the game is high enough. But yeah, no land is a no keep.
Yeah, and I think from Jakob's side, I think the Spell Pierce from the sideboard is pretty real.
Like, oh wow, another no-lander, by the way.
Can happen, yes.
Third mulligan
already.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, going down to 4. I mean, with a goat-like hand or some really good early preordains, you can do something here, but going down to 4 cards means that on the draw, you will have access to 8 cards on turn 4. Yeah, exactly. And so if you start your combo on, let's say, 3 lands, well, it's possible. Yeah, you can do it.
It's possible you can do it, but the Elves player kept a 7, so...
Yeah, that's the most scary part, right?
the on-the-play Elves player kept a 7.
Okay, and now High Tide, I see at least 1 island.
I think 2 islands, 2 brainstorms, Immersion Scroll, and a puppetry.
And they put away the High Tides?
Oh no, they put away the brainstorms. So they have a puppetry. That is a nice path. They have 2 islands. Yeah, of course, they're on the third mulligan, so they have to put away another. So they have Island, Merchant Scroll, and Ideas Unbound, I think.
Cool. So there is a lot of help this hand needs. Like they need to find at least 1 High Tide, 1 puppetry, preferably 2 and 1 of them, or at least a hidden strings or something. And they only have Merchant Scroll to find 1 of them. So they either need to find a cantrip to then make something out of it, or top deck really heavy. And we now have from the Elf side, we have kind of the combat, like the damage setup. It's not a turn 2 priest, it's a turn 2 vanguard. So they will be chipping in some early damage on turn 3 here.
It's also interesting playing the Quirion. So in theory, you have Spell Pierce up right now, right?
Yes.
But
and Jakob is so aware of this. I mean, whether they have it in hand, whether they would use it now on a Merchant Scroll, who knows? But if this kind of setup you see on turn 4, then let's wait for that Spell Pierce. And I think Spell Pierce in this position, especially with this heavy mulligan, is almost like a counter spell for 1 mana, because High Tide has no way to pay these 2 mana.
Okay, so Elves, I think, already developing quite a nice board here. Ideally, there's like one more, like a priest or a Timberwatch, which now you can basically, in the next turn, that's gonna hit for quite a huge chunk. with the Quirion on board also.
It's not lethal though yet. So they need more creatures. Oh, they have another play. They have another land drop with the Quirion. Untapping that Burgclaw, they can attack with the Vanguard and still cast some stuff of 2 more mana. Okay, so they cast something for 1 mana, another Elf, and then swing.
Swing for 5 is actually quite good. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elves on the board, so
yeah, so this is lethal.
Yeah,
this is lethal on the next turn. And High Tide plays a land, does nothing. They have 2 cards in hand. One of them is Ideas Unbound. What's the other one?
I'm not sure. I think if you have some drowse effect, then you can at least not die this turn by drowsing pre-combat. But
yeah, but then you're still dead the next turn.
Yeah, looking really rough here. And even then, I'm not fully sure on which. Like, you have to do it because the Timberwatch will pump in combat before damage, so you already have declared attackers, so you would have to do it before, or you have a snap. Maybe a snap could save you here, but...
And also, that's the funny thing, like, the Quirion can actually untap the creature that gets tapped.
That's true,
like,
that's
so
true.
nasty. This Timberwatch Quirion setup is so beautiful, and I mean, Jakob, I think, spreads the attacks correctly, and I wonder if Hans is aware of that they're dead now.
Yeah, they're counting, definitely.
Yeah, because now attackers are declared, so now any Giga Draws or Puppetry business is off. They have
maybe
4
there's a
cards
snap.
in hand. Oops.
Yeah, there is a snap, okay.
Okay, so maybe the Vanguard goes. Oh no, the Quirion goes, but Jakob can use it still. But they don't.
He already used it, and he
okay.
divided the pumps on the Quirion and on the Sentinel on the right.
Okay. So, apparently they can interact with this meaningfully. And
But still, you're on 3 life, so you definitely have to combo now, but there's a High Tide.
I mean, if this was a Puppetry, they would have a shot here, but now it's like pure desperation. But it can work out, actually. And it's a Stream of Thought that does nothing. It's a Brainstorm that keeps them going. The Snap can make 2 mana into 4 mana, so they got a little breathing room, but they could not cast much more than this. I think they cannot even cast Brainstorm and Pieces of the Puzzle. So I think they need to use one of them to find another Arcane, otherwise they're just dead. The Snap lets them go from 4 mana to 6, and the 6 mana with this kind of hand is the only thing they got to work with.
I think this turn, I think the next 2 decisions we're gonna watch closely. So the one floating, so 3 mana, and
and this is so huge. Like, the best would have been a High Tide, but a Puppetry and 2 Giga Draws, that's pretty solid.
2 Ideas Unbound.
The bad thing is that the Ideas Unbound currently would draw into the cards again. Only the Pieces of the Puzzle could clear the top deck. But it's at least, it's a pretty good hit.
It's a pretty good hit, also no land, so you're pretty happy with that.
They're casting... That's interesting. Yeah, they still want to find High Tide, so yeah, that makes sense. They cast Ideas first and try to max out on the untapping of the Snap, I think.
I think it's the correct call, usually, but here it doesn't matter, because you have only 1 island anyways, so you cannot even cast High Tide.
That's true.
So I think here it doesn't matter. Bouncing the Timberwatch, but on 3 life, it doesn't matter, it's still lethal.
But yeah, they're still in it. Now this goes down 1 mana. This combo of cards goes from 4 mana to 3 mana, and they got 3 more draws. It's kind of insane, but now they have only this Peer Through Depths. This is 3 mana with the Puppetry, and they go down to 2 mana, and they need to find something that at least produces mana.
Nah, it's rough.
Which is pretty tough.
Yeah, he scoops
and they
up,
know it, and they scoop it. So Jakob winning game 2 without even the use of Spell Pierce, just with their regular Vanguard turn 2 into Timberwatch turn 3 development. Snap delayed the kill on turn 4. But yeah, being on the play and having a good 7-card hand for Elves is enough here.
Yeah, I think. But now, of course, it's 1-1. You as an Elves player are on the draw against High Tide, and of course we cannot underestimate that the High Tide player had to mulligan to 4. So now the High Tide player is on the play and has the chance to not go down to 4 cards. So let's see how this is going.
Yeah, I mean, now you kind of have to do it again. Like, this was, I think from what Jakob is used to play against, this was kind of easy squeezy for them. And Hans also correctly used Snap and everything, and were aware of the interactions. So I think we can expect a pretty sweet game 3 here. Like the disadvantages of High Tide going down to 4 and the disadvantage of being on the draw, now they're both gone. So I think for me that puts High Tide as a favorite here.
Yeah, I also would think so. So let's see how their hand develops. Maybe I can fast forward this one.
And maybe you can tell us in the chat if Elf has a turn 3 kill.
Turn 3, I'm actually not so sure. Yeah, maybe.
Also not so sure, but...
So first mulligan for High Tide?
I mean, it's a combo deck. You like combo and heavy control decks, you can usually get away with
nice
with some mulligans. Mid-range and aggro decks usually can't because they just then get out squeezed, cannot do what they need.
So
we get some salt sticks entering the battlefield.
Again, a petals, but this time if you're the first mulligan, the petals can go on the bottom.
The second salt stick cracked. The third one as well.
Okay, so a keep from the High Tide player on 6 and a keep on Elves on 7. Thanks, Jakub. Shout out for showing it to the camera, but we fast forwarded through it, so sorry. Merchant Scroll finding Psychic Puppetry.
Okay, so that means they already have High Tide in hand, at least one of them, and probably also an Arcane. I would say this is a sign of pretty strong hand if you turn to get a Psychic Puppetry.
Yeah, there's a Snap, High Tide, Appear Through Depth, and another land. So that's quite a good setup for High Tide right now.
Yeah, this hand doesn't need help. You need some more pieces, of course, but you have time to find them because you were on the play. And Jakob starts off with Priest of Titania and 2 Elves, which is also and Quirion Ranger already. Like, there is, Jesus Christ, like Quirion Ranger, I mean, this is the house of the deck, I would say. It's so insane.
Yeah, and with a priest, so you're guaranteed to have a really good next turn. Now the High Tide player can think about proactively snapping the priest to prevent the explosive next turn that is probably gonna take place. And if they do it, they are probably gonna do it in the upkeep.
And now comes the guts question, right? You know, as a High Tide player, you would assume you're ahead here. So do you use that piece as a combo piece, the snap, or as an interactive piece? And I think the claim of the High Tide deck is now, I don't need to interact with Elves. I can keep this for myself, and let's see what happens. Like, I haven't seen the result of the game. And okay, we see the punishment, I think. There's Stampede. Now, maybe the High Tide deck, I don't know if they're still so sure of giving so much mana to Elves.
Yeah, I mean, you delay it for 1 turn, the massive mana. Oh, there's a Hydra, so that's a good hit. The other ones are pretty medium hits right now, but you can still play them to the board, then untap Priest to make even more mana. But Hydra is definitely a very good hit right now, because you need to develop the clock now.
Yes, and I would assume that off this hand, yes, oh my goodness, okay, yeah, now we're talking. So Jakob is gonna flood the board, and I don't know, it seems like setting back this priest only 1 turn seems so marginal, but this is a difference now already of like 10 mana, and in the elf stacks, 10 mana, I mean, that's the world, right? They have 5 more mana floating, and they will kind of dump their hand now.
Winding way to find even more. Probably setting up.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, who's the combo deck now? Yeah, sure. 4 hits out of Winding Way.
So probably Hans is deeply regretting not snapping the priest.
Yes, poor Hans. I can understand. Like you would want to just strengthen your next turn, right? They were probably planning on well, maybe they just untap and kill Elves still with the snap in hand.
I mean, yeah, sure. This is still
so much
definitely
more mana.
Possible. But Elves is now presenting a line of play where they, I don't know, could Hydra the next turn for like 20 or something. So I think the next turn, because there's a Hydra in hand, there's a bunch of Elves that are being dumped on the board now. There's already 1 Quirion on the board. There's a second Quirion in the hand.
Yeah, and there's Berklaw, so all the Elves entering will produce more mana as well.
The only thing that is now actually troublesome is that there's no second priest. So the snap route can still happen in the next turn. You can still snap the priest, and then at least you don't have as much mana. But as you can see, there's already quite a board developed even without the priest now.
You mean if, like in the next turn, the priest gets snapped and the Hydra is not so big or such?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But I think with all the counters being placed on the Elves right now, that's already 6, 10. So I think you don't even need the priest anymore because you have enough mana dogs that the Hydra is large enough. So suddenly...
it's such a beauty, right?
Oh my god!
It's like 3 draw spells in one turn, right? No, 2 draw spells in one turn, and like 8 Elves entering the board, casting even more of them.
Yeah,
wait,
why
was
not?
there another Quirion? Yes.
Yes.
Jesus, another Quirion.
And probably now is the time to play the Hydra. Yes, exactly, because now you have the mana available. So why not do it now?
Yeah, sure. Because next turn the creature gets bounced, but then the Hydra, like if the Hydra. Oh, you can already attack. It's so huge. My goodness. Like, no. Like, when we were wondering, like, Jakob has 2 forests in play and a Priest of Titania. Like, would this priest get snapped? Did we think this could happen? No.
I think you always have to respect it. I think now Hans is digging for the combo so that he can go off next turn because, I mean, he kind of has to. He has a Puppetry, a High Tide, a Snap, and an Island in hand. So, kind of a rough spot. Taking the pieces of the puzzle to find more pieces in a single turn.
And I still can't believe it. Like, ladies and gentlemen, this is turn 3 Elves for you. Like, don't go down to 6 lands in the deck. Don't play Spy. Don't do nonsense. Just play it straight up and do this, please.
High Tide player going into the combo now. Yeah, I mean, this is beautiful, no? Like, this is turn 3 on the draw. On the draw, turn 3, the enemy is on 9 life, and you're presenting more than lethal for like a whole commander game right now. So,
and at the same time, like High Tide is untapping and just starting their thing. They just ignore the whole board. They never need to clean up this board. They only need to clean up the library of the opponent.
Pieces of the puzzle being cast now, finding snap, another pieces, and immersion scroll. Probably not the things you want to see because none of that is a crucial combo piece, but can at maximum find combo pieces.
Yeah, but this is fine. Like, Snap is pretty good here because 2 High Tides means Snap goes up 4 mana. If you have any more draw spells in hand, do they? Then this is pretty good.
I'm unsure if they have an Ideas Unbound, but we will see in a second.
Merchants.
So they have,
they have a Snap already.
They have a Snap, but they have no draw spell. They have no Arcane in hand.
That's so interesting. They take pieces and snap, yeah. You make mana, you cast your best draw spell, and try to hit off it. Like,
hey, and you removed 7 counters from an elf. So another pieces. This now has to hit. This now has to hit more pieces.
And I would still say at this point, this is the High Tides game to lose. This is still such a commanding position from the combo perspective that things need to go wrong for Elves to get this. Like 2 High Tides cast in this turn, 1 Puppetry in hand, that's all you need. You got Snap to never really stumble heavily on mana. And they get High Tide and Preordain. They could have gotten Muddle through the mixture to search for something specific, but Preordain was enough for them.
Yeah, I think in this you cannot afford to like keep investing mana to find stuff. So at this point, I think he just wants to. Why not playing the other High Tide? Maybe it doesn't have mana floating. Now casting the High Tide.
They have so much mana. I think they could have afforded to take the.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. But now they have Preordain, and this is now all relying on this Preordain. If they don't find anything, it's over. And Muddle would have found something for sure. Yeah, great. And what's it? Island? No, Brainstorm.
Ooh,
At least it's Brainstorm.
We continue. It's finding a Preordain, an Island, and a Puppetry.
Puppetry is more mana at least, and Preordain can clear the Brainstorm. But they scoop it. They don't even cast. They don't even cast the Preordain. Did they not have any mana left?
They did have.
They were below 3 mana, so they not cut Puppetry with Puppetry.
They were at least at 3 because they have had an untapped Island and already cast 2 High Tides. So it was at least 3 mana, but
4 mana actually, yeah. So they could have casted the Preordain at least, but maybe they were done with top decking, because then the Preordain would have top decked the next card after the Brainstorm cards. Okay, High Tide getting taken down here by like the craziest turn 3 of Elves I've ever seen, and all the menacing around it. Some straight perfect Elves lines as far as I can see from Jakub, and sadly like a game 2 going down to 4 cards on the High Tide side, and then game 3 just starting a combo, but couldn't find it, couldn't convert on it on a turn 4 combo attempt.
Yeah, I think what we take from this game is definitely Elves can do that. this is what I will be saying in my head like all the time now. Oh wait, Elves can do that. You can dump maybe like 10 creatures onto the board in a single turn 3.
Okay, so let's have this finally, Moritz. Now with everything we have seen,
yes,
would you have kept that snap to make your turn 4 combo better, or would you have snapped that priest?
I would have snapped that priest.
Damn, boy.
Snap that priest. Okay, I think it was a great game, and see you in the next one.
Welcome back to the third round. We have now Jund Wildfire, arguably the best deck of the last month, versus Mono Blue Terror. On the other side, Tim playing Mono U Terror. And we see the players shuffling and going into the third round with both with a 2-0 score.
Best deck, Phil. Where was it in top 8 Paupergeddon? Where was it?
It was crushed down by everyone.
Funnily enough, I didn't face a single Jund Wildfire on Geddon, but even though the meta share was so high. But yeah, no top 8. Sad.
Yeah, me neither, but apparently all the affinity players now switched to Jund Wildfire, so it took them maybe like half a year to realize the strength of Chrysalis over the Enforcer, but...
Hey, Grixis will bounce back once we have the new set out, but let's concentrate on the game. We have, of course, the basic Jund Wildfire bridge start, then Blue setting up with a Ponder right now. So, of course, Blue, Jund Wildfire now would like to find a Wildfire, doesn't have the Wildfire in hand, so the Wellspring must do.
And on the blue side, we have some regular setup, finding second land drop in time and an early Delver.
Yeah, pretty nice development. There's a Brainstorm in hand also for the blue player, so the Delver will definitely flip the next turn. On the Jund Wildfire side, we probably drop another bridge. We have a draw spell in hand, a Fanatical Offering that could hit the Wellspring. Delver trigger going on to the stack. Now brainstorming in response. Let's see what probably the best thing to reveal here would be like a mental note or something that you want to play anyways. Junt's still thinking about it, whether or not they want to draw the cards now, probably. So that's why we see a little pause here. And they decide to go for it.
And I think on the Delver side, we see this. Oh, nice. We see a Spell Pierce against the Fanatical Offering. Still one card for the Junt deck. And now this kind of aggressive Brainstorm just to get the clock started. They peel what?
Brainstorm finding 3 islands, by the way.
Okay, and they will probably not want to bottom 2 of them because one of them needs to flip the Delver. So they put back a Brainstorm and keep all the islands in hand. And now at least they got a 3-powered attacker.
So let's hope that the next Brainstorm will find a Lorien so you can get rid of all the lands in your hand. Well, 2 lands in hand. I think it's maybe not too bad. But you definitely, at this point, want to drop a Terror or something so that the Junt player doesn't have time to stabilize. No green mana on the Junt side right now, so you still need a green land to be able to cast your Chrysalis. There has also been no Wildfire yet, so the ramping plan also didn't succeed so far. Now we got a green bridge, so now the blue player knows next time there's the possibility of the Chrysalis at least. We're milling a Delver and an island here, pretty okay. And now going into the blue player's 4th turn.
And what is their hand? Because they must know that the time is now to turn the tides for the Junt deck, and they top deck a Terror, which is huge. They can deploy that for 3 mana right now, which is a bit much. That way they could not interact with any creatures. So they have a counterspell in the Terror, and they decide to hold the counterspell up, not cast the Terror.
Phil, I'm a little angry.
Are you?
Yes.
At what?
I think they have not pressed -3 on the live counter mobile phone.
Oh.
No, that's fine. We'll just keep it in our mind that I think the Junt Wildfire player currently is on 14.
Hopefully they know.
Yeah, they wrote it down, so that's fine.
Okay, yes.
So there's a draw spell again on the Wellspring. In response, there's a Brainstorm, maybe to find a counter spell for that. But spell piercing it. So the Junt player can now decide: do I want to pay 2 and use my whole turn to draw these cards, or do I want to do something else?
So this is another very aggressive line, kind of emptying out their hand early just to keep the pressure up. And also interestingly, Mark on Junt was prioritizing this draw line over just slamming a Chrysalis. What do you make of this?
Yeah, what do I make of this? I think the Junt player is currently not really pressured to do so because there's only a single Delver on the board. And I think as long as Wildfire, you have to hit your land drops, you have to develop your mana and all that kind of stuff. And if you're not able to drop a land and you would use your whole turn to develop a Chrysalis on a board that's maybe not requiring it immediately, then maybe you prefer just developing your own game plan.
The Chrysalis also creates mana, right?
It's wild, you play a creature and get mana.
Yeah.
But Chrysalis costs 4 instead of 0? That's weird.
Yeah, I must have gotten them confused.
Thanks for the players now realizing that the live counter app was off, so that is now fixed, so we can trust it again. Blue deploying a Terror and a Serpent, which is looking really dire. Now you have to play the Chrysalis to block. Probably, yeah, going with the Refurb first. There is probably an untapped land in hand. Dropping... Oh, okay, or we just deploy a bunch of those.
And still no Chrysalis.
Still no Chrysalis, so there was no land in hand, so they chose to deploy 2 Chumpers that also get rid of the enemy's hand instead over playing the Chrysalis. And in hindsight, maybe not the worst idea because you got rid of a counterspell and a brainstorm, and blue is now fully empty-handed. So everything that the Terra player has is on the board. You can even cast down. Yeah, okay, yes, cast down in hand. Okay, that I didn't know. I think that was awesome. Like blue is now stuck with these 2 creatures. No blockers declared.
And so it's finally time for the Chrysalis to stabilize the board.
And with only 1 card in hand.
Oh, the Mountain is really good because then they can also cast the Wildfire after the Chrysalis.
Nice. So no counterspell. So let's see. Chrysalis hitting the board, stabilizing a lot. I think sacking 1 spawn here to develop with a Wildfire is actually worth it, even though you lose 1 chump. But Wildfiring fixes your mana, gives you more options later on, and you will find a removal eventually. So I think...
I think this Chrysalis itself is kind of stabilizing the board now. Like the spawns can jump forever, and Mark decides not to use any of the spawns because they buy him a turn. Both of them buy him more turns, I think. And with the second Chrysalis in hand, also these spawns surviving is very valuable for them. Yeah, they jump 1, and now they make sure with 1 spawn left that the second Chrysalis grows both the Chrysalis beyond the Terrors. So pretty sweet stuff.
Let's see, cycling the KCS with the leftover mana and a blood token. Probably digging for better stuff. Definitely have to hit land drops again. Then finding a removal here is key. Even Pulse of Murasa on a refurb would be great now. I think that would also be a very valid line, gaining 6 life. And if you had, I think Mark has 2 in hand right now of the Pulse.
Okay, so Mark goes for a different line. I think casting Chrysalis here, even if the blue deck had a counterspell, would just fully stabilize the board.
Are you sure they have a Chrysalis in hand?
I thought they had 2 actually, yeah. But maybe I saw it wrong in the beginning.
Yeah, I think they don't.
Okay, then I misread their hand. So they're in the digging mode still. And I can see...
Oh, Bojukeborg! Great find right here. Because now you're not only making sure that... you're basically keeping the Terror player on the creatures they have on the board. So no free Terrors anymore.
Yeah, this is over.
Okay, that's a hard take, but 2 cards in hand, I think, for the blue player, and
that's risky though. Like, attacking here opens up the Delver if something happens to the Chrysalis.
Still there's Sleep of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
So Sleep of the Dead would also be really huge here. Now jumping for the last time, the spawns are gone, but you can still Pulse of Murasa back. Probably a Hydra here? Or do you go for the refurb?
They have double green, so casting a Hydra on something would be X is 6 right now. No, 5. But I think, just casting another refurb, getting rid of the last card in hand, kind of seals the deal. Well, let's see what can blue pull off. I misread this based on them having a second Chrysalis in hand, so yes. This is not over, as you can see. But it's still, now this Chrissy is a 4/5. That's the tipping point of the match, I think.
I think it's still not as bad, but with the Blood Fountain in play, you can now suddenly afford to block with Chrysalis and Refurb and kill the Terra, and get both of them back at the end step, basically. So I think this is one of the lines you could take, because you see that blue is kind of stranded, 1 card in hand, getting rid of the boomerang. And I think this is kind of looking rough still. Pulse of Murasa in hand, so even if you could find a Sleep of the Dead and maybe get in 1 more swing, Mark could take the whole 8 damage without being afraid of much. So, he chooses to further develop his game plan. No cards in hand for blue. So, I think this is smooth sailing now. You're filtering out the lands. So, all the draws that you have, I mean, not all of them, but most of the draws that you have are relevant cards in this matchup.
And you have this uncontested blood fountain, so you will never run out of creatures in this game and out of mana sinks and everything. And yeah, the former Affinity players, of course, used to swinging, and so they just put on the pressure now.
And I think that's good because at some point, even just a makeshift is lethal. So if you chip in a little bit, maybe with the next pulse, get back the Hydra. I mean, a Hydra would be great here, no? Like, just enchanting just the flyer to increase the clock.
With the blood fountain, you mean?
Yeah, I think they have a second Pulse of Morasa on hand.
Yeah.
So that would be, I think, the free, because then you also gain 6 life and gain confidence that you're not dead on a Sleep of the Dead swing. So, okay, they trade with the Terra now, which is also the line that I said is kind of a thing you can easily do. And now you crack the Blood Fountain, get back 2 of the most relevant creatures in the game. I think from the blue perspective, you were thinking about sideboarding already.
It's 18 life, so yeah, pretty over.
But let's see. Jun still has to navigate this home, right? So they still have to sail it into the port. Is that a saying? Probably not.
I think they know these lines from the Affinity deck, where it's just inevitable. You draw more cards, you get the board locked down, and then you just need to do all the game actions. I think there.
Actually, as a blue player, because I have played this matchup. I also have played this matchup quite some time, and I think at some point as a blue player, you have to concede the game because you know that other games can go for some time. And I think the chances of coming back here in this particular position are rather slim. You have the only thing that you realistically have is refilling the hand with a Lorien revealed, like casting it, but that's also a whole turn. Your Terrors still cost 6 mana, so it's kind of bad. And Jund Wildfire just gets to do whatever they want.
Yeah, I mean it's something I experienced playing blue against the Fanatical Offering decks, that you cannot scoop because there is this 1% chance that you draw this into this into this, but we are past this point, I think. And what I can see from Tim's deck is they run a Murmuring Mystic in the main. They run 2 Deep Analysis, which is also like heavily on the control value line. They run 4 Boomerang. I think Boomerang couldn't get them out of this mess anymore, but maybe they see something of using their 7 land drops to get Lorien, Deep Analysis, and Murmuring Mystic going. But yeah, let's be realistic. They might find creatures, they might deal combat damage, but dealing enough combat damage to this deck.
Okay, second Chrysalis hitting the board. I think the blue player is just waiting for the next draw, maybe looking to see what you can ponder. But I mean, Terras cost too much, and this is a scoop. Yeah, second Chrysalis is where it's definitely over, especially in a deck that doesn't play Sleep of the Dead. They have Sleep of the Dead in the sideboard, which I'm seeing right now, 2 copies of it, which definitely have to go in this matchup. But yeah, the Boomerang list, I think, is less suited for the Wildfire matchup. If you are a true tempo player, then I think Boomerang in the tap lands to develop a clock, especially if you have a Delver on board that is likely to flip and stuff. But yeah.
I mean, there is such and such opinion on this. I think the Boomerang can really mess up your Wildfire plays. So beyond just bouncing a tapped land, you can also kind of counter the Wildfire. So like super Ponza them. But this is like another very aggressive line. But an aggressive line that maybe the blue terror needs to take here. They have 4 Annul to dispel 4 Hydroblast in the sideboard. So a lot of these cards could come in, could be relevant versus Jund. But the issue is like, what do you take out? That's always, for mono blue, that's always the issue, like what you don't want to have in this matchup. And maybe if some of you out there have the answer to this, leave it in the comments. I would be really interested. I would board like 6 cards or something, take out the deep analysis probably, take out the Mystic to not rely so much on card draw, but just fully rely on tempo. But yeah, what do you think could happen here?
I would also say Mystic has to go, definitely. Then I think if you wanna keep Boomerang in, then it has to be the tempo Boomerang. I don't think Boomerang as a reaction is good here. We see the Jund player putting 4 Pyros and 2 Duress into their deck, and they're siding out Kraklan Shaman, which is, I think not worth it in this matchup, especially if you don't play the Toxin analysis, and even then resolving both of those spells against blue just to wipe the board. Just to wipe the board is kind of it's quite good, but I think that's just too conditional, and I think they don't even play Toxin in the side. So
yeah, this list that Mark is playing is up to date. It's like a Walker list. Walker came to the conclusion to not play Toxin anymore. Mark as well. And so the Krug itself is probably hard to pull off against 5 toughness creatures.
I think maybe you take the Boomerang out. I think it is it's not so good. Like it can realistically in this matchup, it's only really relevant to go onto the lands. Drawing that later in the game when Jund has already like 5 lands in play, it's a literal dead card. So you'd probably switch out 2 Boomerangs for the Sleep of the Dead for sure, because they're just straight upgrades in that kind of matchup at least. If you want to keep in the tempo play, maybe you keep 2, but I'm not sure. I think all the counter spells are just better.
Yeah, I mean, like Sleep is the match breaker for Mono Blue Terror, I would say. And on the other hand, Bojuka Bog and Spellbomb can really delay what's the only option for Mono Blue, and that is tempo. I think there is some weird scenarios where blue can outgrind Jund, but it should come down to blue deploying early terrors. That's all there is. And so with Deem Inferior as the removal, I would also argue for taking them out. But with Boomerang, you could probably take them out unless you want to rely on this nice bouncing the bridge, preventing the Wildfire lines.
Maybe that's just a meme though. I mean, it's really good when it works, but if it doesn't work, it's really terrible. We see a game, I think both kept 7. Turn 1 bridge, like turn 1 Island Go, and then bridge, and then Thought Scour. Already 3 spells in the bin, so the terrors are getting cheaper by the minute. In Mark's hand, I think there's an untapped land, and a Wellspring for sure, and a Chrysalis, so there's already a clear path toward what should be happening in the future. I think also there's a Pyroblast, so you can even defend your Chrysalis if you need to.
And we can see in Tim's hand already that they decided for some other stuff because they kept the deep analysis in. So they see a chance of deploying them, or maybe they see even the necessity to deploy them. Maybe the last game with the 7 land drops and nothing in the hand, kind of digging for that spell.
Ooh, crucial spellbomb, because right now you see that Tim is setting up for a terror next turn.
Okay, and now...
Ooh, and they're fighting for it.
Nice.
Oh. So in the end, Tim got exactly what they wanted. They even even better than what they wanted, because they needed more cards in the bin, and they now also have countered a Spell Bomb and a Red Blast, so they can easily just find a new land and deploy terror after terror. Let's see how many they have in hand, because this is gonna be tough.
Yeah, and Mark took like the forbidden Junt lines to actually play 1-drops. It's you can see how strong this deck gets when you're not relying on 2-drops all the time, but actually casting multiple spells early. But speaking about casting 1-drops, we got some 5-mana War 2 1-drops.
That's tough, and now you have to
answered by Writhing Chrysalis.
Yeah, but this is, as a Junt player, this is horrible. Like, you got one turn where you can jump them.
But this time there is a second Chrysalis in hand. I'm pretty sure.
That makes it much better. You even take it, because after you play the second Chrysalis, then you have 2 Chrysalises that are larger than any terror can ever be.
Okay, and we got still like
another
Tim
serpent.
is keeping it up. But I think like this is my shortcut for this matchup, that if you have a second Chrysalis, this is what stabilizes the board. And let's see if this holds true.
Oh, Mark is sacking the spawns to cast the next Chrysalis. So they're probably fine with just one of the huge Chrysalises. Let's see what they have in hand. Maybe they have a removal spell like a cast down or something where they would need the colored mana. They have a refurb, which is also great.
Okay, that's a nice discard as an answer to the refurb. Mark is only on 1 black mana, notably. And I think it would have... I don't know what they have going after this, but I still think it's correct to have both Chrysalis grow beyond 5 toughness, even 6 maybe, if you want to block this Serpent meaningfully. But they have it relying on this 1 Chrysalis, so let's see if it stays in play.
And you could have seen that he tapped, the good old Grixis player tapped only a single mana for the refurb, but of course there are only 2 bridges in play, so probably Tim has said, wait a minute, you also need to tap your other bridge for that.
There's so much you can learn in Pauper, right?
Yeah. Refurb, such an understated creature if you have to pay 2 mana for it.
Yes. It's kind of overpriced now, right?
Yeah. Okay, so the graveyard is full. Tim is probably hoping desperately to find Sleep of the Dead, because Mark is already on 10 life. So if you can now, you have enough in the bin to cast the Sleep of the Dead with Escape.
And there is Boomerang. They kept it in, and now it's coming clutch against the 1 big Chrysalis. And now all that's left on the board is Chump Blockers against these 3/6.
Okay, they kept in Boomerang. That's huge, actually.
Okay, so a double block might help them, because this terror is now going to trade for that Chrysalis. The others go away, and what's left is a refurb, a Chrysalis in hand, and 2 snakes on the terror side. And they have a Deep Analysis in the grave, which is also pretty good.
Also pretty good, and the Junt player doesn't have much developed mana right now. So for example, a Pulse of Murasa on the Chrysalis, you cannot cast the Chrysalis. Of course, you're going to cast the Chrysalis first that you got Boomeranged with, but Bujukabog, oh my god, always finding it, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yikes. I think this is what's backbreaking for blue. Like, you cannot answer everything. You have to rely so much on tempo. There's so many lines that you can never really get back from. And then there's just Bujukabog. Just a land drop that's
crucial.
Puts your whole game plan on its head.
I mean, you're on 6 islands, so if you can put something into... Ooh.
And there is an uncontested Lorien reveal that gets island.
So really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Mark, on the other hand, is now on 2 black mana. He has at least a Wellspring in hand. But still, the problem that none of his creatures have enough toughness to survive blocking, unless they're double blocking. So this refurb of them really paying dividend as they change the combat math. I kind of wonder why they kept in the Pulse of Murasa, as it's like a very slow card where the 6 lives in this matchup doesn't help too much, but they like it here. And they kind of take the turn off.
It's also interesting. I think they have a Wellspring in hand, and
And it gets countered.
damn, like from the math of it, you couldn't play the Chrysalis either way. So maybe you draw first to see what's coming from the top of your deck. Also playing the landscape if you're not planning on using all of your mana efficiently, then landscape, I think fetching is always the best idea to thin out your deck. Let's see, another swing. You would probably chump it, because if there is a Sleep of the Dead in the next round, in the next turn, then you're dead. And with
unless you want to do this double block again once you get back a Chrysalis.
But that's too conditional right now. You got countered your Pulse of Murasa.
I know, but the Chrysalis right now doesn't do anything. Like, it prolongs, but it doesn't solve. You know?
Fair. Let's see what they drew. There's a Chrysalis in hand.
Yeah, and they have a full grip, and the blue player has a full grip of islands.
Yeah.
So Mark probably enjoying casting Writhing Chrysalis in this deck. Maybe they get a taste of this card now. What do you think kept them for half a year of playing it?
So for context, Mark is a Grixis lover, but he just recently switched over to Jod Wildfire. Yeah, I think they finally realized that Chrysalis is the better enforcer. By the way, Delver trigger, no reveal, so...
But still another terror.
Still another terror, no island, fortunately. Still another terror, so we are getting back into the... Sleep of the Dead is kind of dangerous. Like, as a Junt player, you're afraid of that. Yeah, pitch the island. Lul.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
but you have enough blockers right now? What do you say? Who's more comfortable right now?
I have the feeling that Tim is doing their best to squeeze out opportunities, and they still have Junt on 10 life, which is something. But unless they find Sleep of the Dead, the creatures that Junt presented, although they're not decisive, they will hold on for another 4 turns now, or like 3 turns, like this. Yeah, and also we have the Blood Fountain now. So this Blood Fountain, with enough land drops, will get 2 more Chrysalis, and these Chrysalis will fully lock up the board. So, no, I think it's looking pretty grim now.
Yeah, I think as the blue player, you have to top deck the Sleep of the Dead, then you have to have enough to also sleep all of them, so that 2 of your creatures can connect. Because next turn, you know there's a Blood Fountain on board, there's 4 mana. So you know that the Junt player is gonna, in the end step, get back 2 Chrysalises. And those 2 Chrysalises will be cast the next turn, and there's not much you can do about it. So I think it's now...
Sleep.
You now have to win.
No.
And
1
draw.
top deck, and it's another 1 drop. Another Thought Scour.
Another Thought Scour. But filling the bin is really good here if you find the Sleep.
But with such good cards. Yes, but it's true.
If you find the Sleep, you can... it's costing 3 mana, I think. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2... Okay, you could only escape it once. So that I think that would not even be enough.
Okay, yeah. They do what they gotta do. They swing. The Junt will probably block or take 5 damage. And after that, next turn, there's gonna be 3 creatures in play with reach and at least 7 or 8 toughness.
Yeah, Junt going for the chump, so that next turn there will be 3 Chrysalises on the board, all larger than all terrors can ever be.
Yeah, and as I said, as put down earlier, like a Chrysalis beyond 5 toughness is really what stabilizes this game. There can be Sleep, so there is still hope for Tim, I would say. But now there's all the spawns as well, so there will be blocking for at least...
That's the problem, like you don't have to sack the spawns, you can easily sack them once you have declared blockers, so at least those will definitely fill up the board right now. And yeah, Tim has 1 card in hand, a mystery card, which is a boomerang. So they're gonna boomerang the green source. But yeah, of course they are floating it, so... Yeah.
Okay, I think Tim realizes themselves that unfortunately, this line didn't prevent the Chrysalis from coming down. And they look a bit defeated now, I would say.
Yeah, I think. But even boomerang the Chrysalis, like, come on, this is done. Like, you cannot. You could theoretically cast, if you top deck Sleep of the Dead, you could cast it 3 times. So that would go, if you would have boomeranged the Chrysalis, that would have gone on Chrysalis and 2 spawns. Like Chrysalis in a spawn, but there are then still 3 spawns left to block. So
no, I think what you could, like, that's the only line, is like tapping the Chrysalis, swing, eat up all the spawns and make 3 damage with the Delver, and next turn do it again. Like, tap down the Chrysalis for 2 turns and try to convert it, but I think not even that would convert to 10 damage with the hand of Junt left.
Probably the last draw of this match. Let's see. I mean, to be fair, yeah.
There's the handshake, and Junt proceeds to the next round.
Another island. Oh man, that's cruel. That's heartbreaking.
Okay, there would have been a lot more draw steps on the Junt side, and yeah, I mean, I find it crushing. I always, in this match, I kind of root for the tempo deck, and I think this early Bojuka Bog, turn 3 by Mark, or turn 4 or something, I think this did more than comes to the eye, because Blue Terror spends the early turns to set up this grave, and being set on this axis just prolongs, and the longer the game goes, the better for Junt.
Yeah, I also think that both Bojuka Bogs, actually, also the Bojuka Bog in this match was quite good. But yeah, Junt finding, of course, 3 Chrysalises in like the top 25 cards, maybe, also pretty good.
And also this early fight in this game where Tim was defending against the Spell Bomb, that drew a counter spell and a Spell Pierce out of the blue hand, and a Spell Bomb and a Red Blast out of the Junt's hand. And this is fine for Junt.
But I also think this is fine for blue if you can then, in the next turn, present 2 terrors.
It's good for blue, and you have to do it and everything, but you lack these cards 2 turns later. And like afterwards, I mean, countering Chrysalis, okay, it does only so much, but Tim was never even close to like contesting like a Blood Fountain, like a really relevant card in the matchup, because they had to defend early against the Spell Bomb. They have to do it, and it's all correct, but you end up with like 2 cards in hand, you slam your 2 creatures, and then you pray for the next 5 rounds. And I think this is what happened.
This game reminds me of why Wellspring Dispute is such a... Oh, it's so good.
But we got a new one. We got a blue Wellspring now in the format. Are you looking forward?
I'm sure some people will flicker the flip out of that thing, and it will be horrible. But I'm looking forward that the format is probably going to be shaken up a little bit.
And all the Junt player can then switch back to Grixis. It's so amazing.
Oh no! Nature is healing. Okay.
See you in the next one.
Okay. That was a pretty nice game. Decisive win from Junt Wildfire here. And Junt Wildfire can even sit at the same spot again, because we are still on table number 1, match 4. Now against Quok, who is playing Tron. Right from the get-go, interesting matchup. In Quok's hand, we see at the very top, I think, a Rook turret, which is one of the Tron builds that you can play right now. It's a blue card, it's a 3/3 flyer, and whenever an artifact enters the battlefield that you control, you may draw a card, and if you do, discard. So basically here, the Tron plan is that with a Myr Retriever Loop, you can see your entire deck.
And I think also, in a relevant way, they can use it just as a value piece in their mid-range games.
The players are already on their mulligan, so they're probably just waiting for the tournament to start. So yeah, we've sped it up, and we can now go into the game. Okay,
so let's see whether Quack can continue their journey from the last game, or Junt can continue their journey that they started today. Looking at the list beside the blue artifact flyer, I see 1 Weather in the main, 3 Golem Foundry, 1 Blood Fountain, and 2 Altars. So it is the combo version of the deck. That has some flex slots.
Interestingly, playing no Fangren Marauder main, and also Fangren Marauder aside, but no main. So there's it is really for the combo, and only the Rook turret is now the addition that you can see basically your win condition if you have the loop assembled. But I mean, often the times the Golem Foundries are enough, but you can find the Golem Foundry with it, and you can even find the Weather the Storm for infinite life.
Oh, and interestingly, I think already we've seen Wildfire on Wildfire's own land, so the value line on turn 2, instead of using Wildfire to destroy the Tron pieces. I see this as a correct line, that you use the first Wildfire on yourself and then maybe the second to disrupt the opponent's mana, because what this matchup comes down to is like just the biggest grind fest in the world. They have 2 value decks that run Fanatical Offering and Eviscerators Insight, Ecor Wellspring, all the goodies, and they just go at it, and one of the decks has better creatures and the other deck has better mana. So what's going to happen here?
Interestingly, there's 1 combo piece already hitting the board for the Tron. So Tron has assembled Tron, has now the Golem Foundry in place, has 1 mana fixing artifact, so 1 Prophetic Prism already in place. So the setup for the Tron is actually looking really well right now. So you have a full hand. There's a dispute target in the Wellspring that you can cast even right now in the end step. So I think Tron is currently quite well. He's putting the die on his hand, probably to remind himself that he's want to draw at the end step.
What is he going to draw off at the end step?
He's going to offer or probably eviscerate the Wellspring.
Okay. I thought he wanted to represent that he has 6 cards in hand, or that the storm count might be 6 or something.
Interesting. Let's see. And he's gonna Fanatical offer the Wellspring. So I think as a Tron player, very comfortable spot right now. There's a spell bomb, of course, developed by the Junt player, which can disrupt the combo. So you also have to find an answer for that. And that answer is either just redundant combo pieces or artifact hate, but there's no artifact hate in the main deck.
And also interestingly, the Tron deck is not running Pectoral Terror. So winning goes really through what you represented, like drawing the whole deck with the combo. As we now see the
Rock Turret
entering the battlefield, and now every artifact entering will let Quack loot, or like give him the opportunity to. And as I have experienced once playing against Quack, this adds up a lot. Like now, like the 5 artifacts they play every turn, which they can with 7 cards in hand, a lot of them being cantrips with this much mana, will not only do the stuff they do, but also let him loot and just sculpt their hand really nicely.
That is so good, because they're cantripping, so they're basically card neutral, but you get better selection with the looting, so it's just you're guaranteed to find the pieces that you want. Discarding the map here, so they're set up on mana already. I think it's fine. You even now get to scry and then loot. So the value the Rook Turret presents, I think we see it right in front of our eyes right now.
And right now it's an uncontested Rook Turret, because Mark has only colorless and red-green up. But it can also be interacted with, so it's one of the few, I would say, decent targets for cast down, for example, game 1. But the thing is that Mark is the beatdown, like Junt is the beatdown here, and you see their board, right? They're so behind on board, and now they're also like way behind on value. that I have the feeling this game is already over. Game 1, there is not much Junt can do to come back from such a mana and card and permanent advantage, and also like a Golem Foundry that can probably block.
Yeah, there's a Golem Foundry on 6 charge counters already. Then the Rook turret cannot be cleared by the KCS because it's flying. So I think the Rook turret can only be cast down right now. But we see Quack even discarding the second Rook turret, so I think they're fine. There's now finally a Chrysalis hitting the board. So you still have the, I would say, like deadlock with the spell bomb. So, and a cast down on the Rook turret. That's also really good right now. So Mark is at least controlling the board. I don't know if it will be enough to swing this back into his favor, but with the spell bomb at least in play, Quack has to be a little more careful because then they have to go through some extra loops basically. But a second Foundry, I think at some point you just win maybe even just win with Foundries.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, I'm a quick one at calling games over and such, and yeah, just the two plays that Mark did showed that he can fight back. It's just that the turns from the Tron side will look ever more impressive from now on, and now they found a third Golem Foundry. So yeah, I agree. I could see this coming down to a beatdown from Golem Foundry. Maybe they don't even need to rely on the combo here and just like in a fair way overcome the defenses of Junt.
Very fair indeed.
It's so fair tapping your lands for 3 and 2 mana, right? I mean, this is considered fair magic.
So there's another Retriever in hand right now. And a Spellbomb of their own. They're gonna cast a Retriever. This is putting up all the charge counters. So the first Retriever on the board.
And they have a second in hand, yeah?
I'm not so sure if they have a second in hand.
I saw it, I think.
Okay. And a Spellbomb. So the Spellbomb in this matchup against Junt, of course, that if as soon as creatures die, they should never come back. That's the main goal. And as there's a Blood Fountain on board, I think developing this already is quite good.
So what do you think? How can Quack get around this spell bomb? I mean, they could force it by leaving a mirror in the grave, putting the second in, and then Mark has to crack the spell bomb. But is there a more elegant way of getting around it? Do you think? Let's maybe check if they have anything in there.
I'm actually not so sure. I think they don't. I think Quack in this position can just win by makeshift. So by golems and makeshift. I think that is the main goal. But at some point you have to force the crack of the spellbomb maybe. So if you have 3 mirror retrievers, then you can at least, instant speed sack on top of it, but 2 will always be exiled, I think.
Yeah.
2 will always be exiled. So you need to see all 4 for the full combo. But I think with the makeshift munitions and the Golem Foundry, you can easily win without ever doing the combo itself.
And I think you can see that Quack went down this line from turn 3 on. They put out the first Foundry so early, and they, I think, even prioritize finding and deploying the other ones. So I would even assume that they know of the the Junt lists. I mean, they can look them up in the internet, just as Junt players do as well. And know that they don't play Artifact Hate in the main usually. And that, they can just get through it like this.
Yeah, and Quack has been playing this for so long, so they definitely know what they're doing. And 3 Foundries in play. Cracking the first Mirror Retriever here. Let's see what they pick and if the Spellbomb cracks.
So they do have this. Do they already have a Mirror Retriever?
No, it's only 1 in the grave right now. And they're picking the Wellspring and then drawing 2. Oh, okay. I think they have all Mirror Retrievers in hand right now.
Yeah, so with Mark being tapped out, they can. I don't know if they have enough mana for it, but they could They don't have an altar yet. So
They don't have an altar yet. That's the main problem, even though they've seen a lot of their deck, but they're going to make sure that they're going to see much more of their deck. So
yes.
playing another rook turret. So now there's card selection back on the table. And now the Wellspring can suddenly not only draw, but also loot and increase all the charge counters.
So maybe let's go the other way. What could Jan do here to come back?
I honestly am not so sure, because at some point you have to attack, but you can just make golems. So the golem foundry is instant speed. So I think as the Tron player, you just make sure that the Jund player never deals a lot of damage to you, because the charge counters are now basically free to crack to make a blocker. And the Jund has to watch out that the combo does not come through, right?
Okay, but let's look at it this way. If I'm trying to imagine a scenario for Jan, right? Like, what if Chrysalis, like maybe one more Chrysalis, and you swing, and you answer all the golems that pop out with a croc? Like,
no, they will make golems one after another. They will never present all golems at once.
But they need to present enough of them to... Okay, you mean they just produce golems to jump block, not to kill the Chrysalis?
Exactly.
Okay.
Because in the end, they just need time to find... probably now the altar. Because the altar is the only thing left to do to combo over the spell bomb.
Because they have enough retriever in
they
the
have
hand
all retrievers. I think they have 2 more in hand, 1 in the grave, 1 on the board.
But it is risky still, because I think Mark is running Crypt Incursion main, as you do in the stock Junt lists, and or at least Walker does. And so I think you can, I don't know if you can ever safely combo with 3 mana open.
I haven't seen the Altatron plan without actually like Alta.
Oh no, I have seen it a lot.
So I think, because even then at some point, if you have cast enough, you will just, in the Junt player's end step, make all the golems if there's no if there's no KCS on board.
I think the Tron deck kind of laughs at the Junt deck. Like, I've played this online a few times when Packdoll was the big thing in March or something.
We're seeing some golems now. So I think it was the end step. So there's no KCS on board. And Quok decided to crack a few golems.
Yes, and I think if these golems were Packdoll terrors, this game would have already been over. Quok decides to play the combo line to have probably better chances in other matches, but he can still do the same thing. He just has to jump through more hoops.
Yeah, in the Blood Fountain, too much. Blood Fountain on top of the spell bomb is also the line how you win.
To get around it. Yeah.
So now you have, and he drew the altar, so I think this is now pretty much GG, because he also has Weather the Storm in hand. So, of course, deploying the altar, sacking the Muir Retriever, then Mark has to crack the spell bomb, then you crack the Blood Fountain, and you win.
Yes, and I have to once again shout out to Quok for playing the deck like this, because it's, I don't know, to me it's a riddle. Like, you have, I'm overwhelmed by the permanence you have in the Junt deck, and I mean, compare the two, and Quok is able to represent it so nicely, and also to navigate it. Like, I had just from looking at it, you had the feeling that they knew what they were doing from turn 2 on, right?
Ooh, okay. So there's a Crypt Incursion on top of the Blood Fountain. That's crazy. So Quok, in response, wanted to crack the Blood Fountain, get back the Muir Retrievers, but there's now a Crypt Incursion from the side of the Junt player. So the only, like, the out, quote unquote, like to steal combo, Quok has to have 2 Muir Retrievers in hand. Which I think they have, yeah.
Yes.
So
and now Mark is tapped out, no Blood Fountain.
Mark is gonna be sad about that one, because he played it honestly very correct.
Yes.
he played it very correct, but now there's gonna be and that's gonna be probably a handshake. Yeah.
Mark knows it, scoops the cards. It's over.
Wow. Okay, yeah, and that's probably without the rook through it, you wouldn't have be able to find all your pieces so quickly, right?
And I mean, I'm scared for game 2 because this was never close. Like, this was a smooth sailing for Tron from turn 3 when they assembled Tron. And also, I didn't see Mark's hand during the match. Maybe they can fire this first Wildfire at the Tron lands, but as I said myself, I don't think it's the best of ideas. You don't develop yourself. And so game 2, Mark will now have to get all these hate cards and put on a clock on this non-ending rain of artifacts.
I think as a Jund player, I have played this particular matchup a bunch of times, and as the Jund player, I think how you win is screwing over their Tron and hitting with the Okiba Gang Shinobi. So I think duressing and Okiba Gang Shinobi to pick up, to delay their Tron, hopefully get something like an early expedition map, stuff like that. And the first Okiba Gang Shinobi that connects is almost always a GG if it's in the first 5 turns. I mean, it's a big word, right? Because I think they can often recover from it, but the removal that Altatron runs is very slim. Like, we can have a look at the sideboard. There's only a single KCS and 2 scatter shots. So,
and they're probably not even for this matchup.
For this matchup. So, and you probably don't side in the Fangman Marauder because you don't really need it. Because this is mostly for burn, but Jund never presents any lethal damage in the first bunch of turns.
I think you could board it in as it's just a second layer of we're gonna play forever, and we're gonna play forever. Tron always wins, unless they have no cards against the Okiba Gang. But okay, I want to shout out, I want to see one line. I want to see Troublemaker Oof into Okiba Gang Shinobi into recast Troublemaker Oof. Please, Mark, make this work.
But what are you realistically trying to exile? Like the eggs? The candy trail?
I mean, you can exile everything. You can exile the altar, you can exile the Golem Foundry, you can exile this 3/3 flyer if you want to. You can even exile a Mirror Retriever to get rid of it for good.
That's true. No, I underestimated that. Yeah, I thought that at the point where the Tron player is comfortable on an altar and on a Golem Foundry, you kind of, you didn't already lose, but it's kind of looking bad.
And that's so sick. Like, Quack kept in Weather the Storm, so they, as I had the idea, they just want to make sure they don't die. I don't think it's really necessary. Like game 1, they were on chill 26 life, never received any damage. But Weather just tells me, they also see complete inevitability in this match.
No, that is not completely true. Weather the Storm is just a combo win. So Infinite Storm makes infinite life and you win. So I think at least one copy you always leave in, because this is just a combo outlet. Like you just win if you have the Altatron plan in place. So I'm not sure if they boarded in more. I don't think they need more. I think a single of those could suffice. If they think that there's going to be a lot of duress, a lot of hand hate, maybe they boarded in another one, but probably the Ancient Grudge came in from the sideboard of Altatron to get rid of the spell bombs.
Yes.
But other than that, I think the Altatron player is chilling. I think from the sideboarding perspective, you don't have to overboard for this matchup. Like, you're doing your plan, and if you don't get disrupted, you're probably gonna finish much faster.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward now to see Jund tempo, really. Like, I really want to see the refurb start, the early Chrysalis, and Mark to pressure Quack into some uncomfortable decisions, for example.
Okay, I think Quack starting on 7, Mark starting on 6, bottoming a bridge. Turn 1 Spellbomb. If the Tron player has the Ancient Grudge in hand, that's always kind of bad. Like for the spell bomb, you maybe don't want to hit so early, but Mark wants to play as mana efficient as possible here. I think the best start or the best continuation here would be develop a refurb and then somehow find your Okiba gang. Because the refurb taxes already one card from the hand, and if you can get it back, even with the Okiba gang, then they have to again discard two.
And Mark is between the decision now. Wildfire on their own land. This time he goes for Quack's lands. Okay, so Mark is fine with their 3 lands, and he thinks that exchanging a Tron piece for a swamp is enough of a delay for Quack, so they go for it.
I'm just wondering why they didn't pick the tower. Do you know?
Maybe they mixed up the artworks.
Because usually unless you have information about their hand, you always pick the tower. Unless you know that, for example, expedition map has found another tower, for example, then... But I think there was no information gained, so I think they just picked the wrong land.
Or it's something that only the Grixis players know.
Or honestly, maybe he just has spidey senses and is...
They know that there is another tower in hand. They just know it. Okay, and here comes another swamp. Wow, so many swamps in this deck. That's crazy.
Yeah, but
4 swamps. Oh my goodness. So you can never run them out of lands with Wildfire.
And also no other Tron piece on the board, but there is from the Prism he drew another Tron land, which maybe is another tower. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it is a tower. And now whatever Mark has been feeling is paying dividends, because there are now 2 towers on board, which is kind of useless.
Maybe he saw it. No, his Jedi forces were strong. Okay, and on Mark's side, still the refurb is stuck in hand because the deployment of Wildfire and Chrysalis were more relevant. Mark is talking to themselves or drumming now to get rid of the stress, I guess, and the pressure. And we see a Myr Retriever. What's this Myr Retriever gonna do on 4 mana?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
I mean, what are you trying to set up here? You have a Golem Foundry in hand, so realistically, if you find an altar, I think Quack is playing mana efficient right now because he sees that he cannot find Tron anytime soon, also with his cards in hand. So he's setting up for a lucky combo finish. So maybe, I don't know. But if you can find the right like for the next 2 draws, if you find the right cards, you could theoretically combo. The only problem is there's already 1 spell bomb on the board, so you need to find the combo and answer the spell bomb, which is kind of a lot. And you don't have any ways right now. There's no expedition map, there's no nothing, so you are basically in top deck mode when it comes to finding your Tron pieces, which is one hell of a comfortable spot for Jund right now. Like, you have developed some mana, you have a Chrysalis on board, you have a refurb in hand, so I think this is now very chill for the Jund player, but of course the Jund player cannot chill too much, because if you let the combo player draw a bunch of times, they might find their stuff.
I had the idea that this Myr Retriever could be like a mid-range value play, just jump and get back a card that draws a card and set the Retriever up in your graveyard already. I mean, the spell bomb is gonna eat some of it, I think. It could be that they're setting up the combo, but beating that spellbomb seems very rough. But I wonder how long it takes for Quack to just get this engine humming. I mean, discarding this weather, okay, easy peasy.
So, interestingly, discarding weather, right?
But they're not afraid of their life.
Yeah, they're not afraid, but another refurb hitting the board, which is horrible because Quack has only pieces that he wants to keep. He has a land drop, he has a Myr Kinsmith, which is now being discarded.
So I think now Jund is in a good position. Or like not in a good position, but now it's equalized.
Equalized, you would say. I think Jund was in favor before, but mapping onto... he's thinking about it, whether he wants to do it. He's gonna swing first. Yeah, jumping with the mirror. So let's see what he got back. Probably the. Yeah, you're right. He just, I think, wants to see more cards.
He has to.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a.
Ooh, cracking the spell bomb on the Jun side for.
Yeah, denying that value.
Damn.
Yeah. This is all tempo now, yeah.
This is now, yes, but with 2 reverbs on the board and an empty board on the Tron side, I think you can allow yourself to do that.
You have to. I mean, it's like, it's always funny if you have a control deck that plays aggro. You start to using the cards that you are so used to denying just aggressively.
And you know what's funny? Quack just drew the Ashnod's Altar. So they have all pieces now in hand if they find another retriever.
But the retriever, another retriever.
Yeah, they have one retriever in hand, and if they find another retriever, then
when they found an expedition map, and they were they were disciplined enough.
Troublemaker, oof, exiling the Foundry. So there's no, if you find the combo, there's currently no outlet anymore. That was the only outlet that, like the win condition that Tron had. So even if you find the combo now, you cannot make anything out of it.
And Quack earlier was disciplined enough to discard a lot of cards, but not the swamp. So he made his 5th land drop, although it's like the wrong one, you would say. But with the expedition map, they're now so close to assembling Tron. And after that, we're going to see another game.
So close is...
They are. It's like one more card. Well, okay. It's interesting that we have different perspectives on the game. But for me, this could get iffy for Tron. But now with this Fanatical Offering in their hand, I give it like 1 turn and they're back to 7 cards in hand.
Okay. I mean, fair. Mark also has draw spells in hand. So I think it's now going to be a matter of, can Mark find the cards to disrupt the Tron? So another Wildfire would be great now in this spot.
Okiba Gang Shinobi.
Okiba Gang Shinobi would be GG because you pick up your... I mean, come on. You pick up your refurb. So the Tron player suddenly has to discard 3 cards, which is definitely going to be GG. So we see now Fanatical Offering.
No Tron piece. Tron piece.
And a retriever. And another retriever. Oh.
It's a mine, I think they got. And what is it? And they have a power plant in play. So next turn, that's Tron, I think.
Oh, and they have the second retriever now.
Yes.
So they have 2 retrievers and the altar in hand. They are just lacking currently.
What? This is already Tron.
Wait, they have already Tron. Oh, this is not a tower?
Jesus. I hate it. And Quark's lands, they're Japanese, it's the worst. No, it's all fine. But actually, yeah, we misread the one that is probably like something for a tower. Okay, yeah. So they have
is this
Tron
a
already.
mine? Is this a mine?
It's a mine. Yeah, this is a mine. Yes, it's a mine. Yeah, I know it. I've interpreted them a million times.
Damn, Quark is getting us.
We also have Offering on Mark's side, and it's like a typical Grixis thing to sack your lands. Mark doesn't care, just goes for it.
You know what? You're so right. Tron has this.
Tron has what?
I mean, come on,
it's not even close, man.
I mean, if they didn't have Tron assembled, I think it would have been kind of better.
Yeah, but they drew it now.
But they drew it last turn, and that was...
the card they discarded, this I think would have also been Tron if this other thing was a tower. Yeah. And you were right, this Okiba discarding, that can really... Okay.
Come on.
Okay, let's see what happens. Now we have now Tron assembled versus Okiba Gang Shinobi on refurb. Mark, though, discarded his land, otherwise he could have now deployed this refurb. Yeah.
Oh, he's picking up the oof.
Oh, even better. Even
he's
better.
Up the oof. Nice.
So this oof is next turn probably gonna eat something of the existing permanents.
If Mark will see the next turn.
Oh man. Yeah, we might see a scoop here. Now I'm on. Now I believe the Okiba GG line.
Yeah, discarding 2 is kind of hard, but
how did they get the weather back? They bought it more in, right?
Yeah. They bought it more in,
so
which is also interesting.
Easy discard.
This is hard. This is very hard.
And they think about keeping the weather so to stay alive. Okay, now, yeah.
Okay, so they have the blood fountain, so they can get back the retriever. So discarding the retriever is fine.
And this is fanatical offering, so huge.
I think this is over now because you have the Weather the Storm, you have the altar, and you have the blood fountain to get both retrievers back. This is GG. No? I think this is over. And no mana on the Junt side, so no way of exiling instant speed.
Don't tell me this is over.
This is over. This is over.
Is this over? They have enough mana? What's the win condition? Just infinite
Weather the
life.
Storm, yes. Yeah.
My goodness. I mean, we're stunned looking at this.
You
viewers, you probably know all these lines. You know you're laughing your asses off, but oh my goodness.
Imagine if you had one more mana to replay the refurb.
Imagine.
Imagine that. Let's see. The altar.
And now they got one mana left, but that's not the concern, right?
They're now looping infinitely, and they still have the prism for green.
Okay, and they will probably now present what's going on. Mark is thinking, templating something.
But I don't know why Quack is still thinking. I think that's just over. He's thinking what to get. Okay.
Oh, what?
He get one, because the first that you sack, you get an artifact, and the second that you sack, you take the other retriever. So you even get one.
They got a free sack here.
They got a free sack, but it's over. It's just over.
And Quack probably knows it. Like, I think he's so proficient with the deck. He's seen even this line so many times. He had 4 cards in hand. He had to discard 2 of them, and he just won from it. I mean, this Eviscerators was a good draw, but it probably didn't even matter, right?
No, it doesn't matter. Like, you have infinite storm count now, and with this infinite storm, you weather and you win.
Okay, and Mark is grasping his hair of the amount of life that Quack is now gaining.
So the question is, hear me out, Phil.
You
haven't won. Mark is up. No, Quack is up 1-0, so never mind. I thought, like, if Mark was up 1-0, you maybe just play this out.
Oh, wow. Someone's just helping them to put the life up to whatever immeasurable number Quack came up with. I was wondering about this, but I think even from the Junt, how are you sitting this out? You rip them off of cards? Okay. But you're never winning this, no?
No, you cannot win. You have the infinite life. The only way you win is that the Tron player is decking himself.
Yes.
But they will realistically not, because they have a combo in play, basically.
They're still adding the life. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we don't know, unfortunately, how much life Quack wanted to gain, because they have to say a number.
I think this is such a nice symbolization of infinite life, because the person is just now to hold the thumb on the life counter till the end of the round. This will never stop going up. Believe it. Yeah. This finger is going to stay on this pad.
Maybe we're going to know.
But what happens, like, just theoretically, Mark hits off 2 of the cards of Quack every turn, and Mark can never put him to 0 life. What happens? Quack has a top deck every turn, right? So can he win off a single top deck from this position?
So we saw the Oof exiling the altar. And the Quack had to discard again to hand size, because the Okiba gang is in play.
Yes.
So I think Quack will now be. I think Quack has a lot of offerings. No, not offerings. The Eviscerator Insight.
They're counting their deck.
Exactly. So the only way for Junt to win is to literally deck out for the Tron player. So the only goal that Junt right now has is remove all combo pieces that you see. And if you have enough Troublemaker Oofs, you can even exile them forever. So if you exile the altars, I think you play 3 maybe, but...
Oh, that's interesting, because I thought with the Oof cast and once bound by the Okiba, there is only one more cast on the Oof with the next Okiba. That's the last one. But you could also recast the Oofs by getting them in your own graveyard and recasting them via Blood Fountain. So I think there's a maximum of 5 Oof casts here, and we've seen 2 of them.
Quack now getting back the Mir Retrievers. before there is any chance of a spell bump, but Quack has to be careful. Probably playing a Mirror Retriever to block the Okiba gang to stop the bleeding from the hand.
Makes sense.
So Mark now, I think, wants to really remove the Mirror Retriever from the board.
There is a cast
and they
down.
have a cast down in hand.
They even have more Chrysalis. Jesus.
I think they just drew the Chrysalis.
I thought, okay, yeah. And what's the third card? That's a Wellspring.
A Wellspring, yeah. So let's see what they find. Cast downing the Retriever is huge now. I think they are trying to dig for a spell bomb, because if you can now cast it down, then connect with Okiba.
Why didn't he not attack?
Wait, did they just pass the turn?
Oh, by the way, the life total has been adjusted towards some billions, getting more adequate on what's happening here. And like, I think the final, we're talking all like scenarios here now, right? But like, what can Quack get now, like, to finish it off? I mean, this is a good start.
But it's really funny. Like, Quack is not afraid of decking. Like, he's now deploying a Rook turret to cycle through his deck. He's so confident that he will find
a decisive line, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just all the combo pieces again, basically.
Yeah, they just have to find. I mean, they have the Retrievers already, and there's no graveyard exiling from Mark right now. So they have to find another altar. And with another altar, you have infinite draws. And then with another altar, infinite draws, and then you just find your win condition and you win. And this time, please let it be a Golem Foundry.
Oh, yeah. And also, I realized the reason why Mark is not attacking is obviously because it doesn't matter anymore. Although
in the turn before, he could have made him discard. I'm pretty sure.
No, but there was a Retriever already. I think it could have been blocked.
You mean...
And Mark doesn't want to give him the value of the grave and such. I don't know if it's correct. It's too hard to oversee. Okay, so yeah, combat is over. We have like 2 Retriever in the grave, right? And 2 in play.
It's 2 in play, and I'm not sure if there's anyone in grave right now.
Okay, they got rid of...
Because with the spell bomb, they got back both of them from the grave.
With the fountain, you mean?
With the blood fountain, I'm sorry, yeah.
But that was before the combo with the altar.
After.
Okay. Then one of the altars is already exiled, so they need to find that to combo off again.
Yeah, but okay, they're playing one more altar in the deck.
So they will find it.
They will now search for their last altar in deck, which they have to find. They are gonna swing because they want... Yeah, they want a block because they want artifacts to cycle with the Rook turret.
What?
They want the Mirror Retrievers to die, so they get artifacts to cycle with the Rook turret.
Yeah, but this 10-turn clock is not going to get Mark to block them, right?
Exactly. Mark is knowing that, of course. Oh, Fanatical Offering is huge here because you draw a lot of cards and make a map so you can loot one more time. And you even put the Retriever in the bin so you can get back a platform. Which is putting 2 artifacts in play so you can loot 2 times.
Oh my god, the synergies. Oh, these new cards, it's so amazing.
I'm learning so much just watching Quack play, honestly.
I think the one thing I find sad about this Rook turret is that it's a May ability. It would be so much sweeter if it was a must because it had a downside. Okay, but on the other side, we got Mark now with 2 Okibas. I kind of missed it. But they cannot attack past this Rook turret, or what's going on?
Interestingly, the second ninjutsu wasn't on the oof. It was on a refurb.
So Mark sees the cards in hand as more problematic than the permanents in play.
Yes, but if they would have known that, I mean, the Ashnod's Altar, Quack only plays out if he can combo that turn. But the Golem Foundry, of course, could be hit by it, but Quack plays 3 Golem Foundries, so I think there's no real way of winning by exiling the Golem Foundries anymore.
And I mean, Mark by this time is like playing for a draw, right? Because his line of winning is decking Quack out. And after that, there's probably not so much time on the match clock.
Yeah, so definitely Jund cannot win anymore because Jund can also not win fast enough for the game 3, so they're playing for a draw here. But of course, Quack is up 1-0. So it all comes down to, can Quack find the altar quickly? Please.
And I mean, Quack
Ended.
Quack attempting to find the altar is like being a fair sportsman, right? If they just did nothing, never looted, their chances of winning this whole match would be better than them playing, right?
I think as an altar player, you can basically count the cards, right? So if you've went through your deck more than through your enemy, like the enemy went through theirs, then of course you have to win by combo. So I think Quack is, there's the altar, and come on, that's now GG. If there is, Mark has in theory enough mana open for a crypt incursion, so there is this line of maybe there's the exile once the retriever triggers on the stack, and now Quack probably asks, and there's none.
And there's Blood Fountain.
And there's even Blood Fountain to win on top of that. So I think Quack is now explaining, hey, I can do this an infinite amount of times. I can loot infinitely. I have infinite golems.
Which is so rough.
So
like this could be like the worst Jund matchup, right? I mean,
this is really bad.
This is so horrible. Like they got all, like Jund got everything that we wanted them to have, right? They got Okiba, they got Refurbs.
But no, it's too late. The Okiba they got too late.
Yeah, but at least they got them.
Yeah,
they connected with it.
But too late.
Late?
Yeah, I say too late.
Okay, so the real Jund players, they play their Okiba on turn 4.
The real Jund players, no, I mean, the real Jund players draw their Okiba earlier, lol.
Will the real Jund player please stand up?
No, the real Jund players play a Hydra for 0, and then Okiba the next turn.
It's not a Mukotai, you know?
Okay, no, so Quack has won. I don't know if he needs to explain why he has won. Maybe or if Mark we just don't see it. But Mark is maybe interested, and he's taking a sip from his Spezi. No, he's passing the turn. I mean,
come back to it, I think Jund did everything they could. Like they deployed early creatures. They even wildfired at the opponent's lands, which is somewhat disadvantageous for them.
That's it.
They found Okiba, they found Troublemaker Oof, and you had the feeling that Tron was laughing at it. Like,
I mean, honestly, if they didn't find Tron, like if it really was 2 Tron pieces missing that late in the game, while Okiba Gang is in play, like I think then there would be the realistic chance of Wildfire winning, but the artwork for the 1 mine is just, come on, that's a tower, man.
Yeah.
Come on, that's a tower, man.
No, but the Wildfire was played before that. So that's...
No, but I mean, if he would have taken an extra turn to find Tron, then maybe with the Okiba Gang and stuff, but after all, very interesting match, very sad, of course, for Jund Wildfire, because this is a matchup you usually don't really like to see. And Quack clean 2-0.
And apparently the only thing you can do better than playing Fanatical Offering, Ichor Wellspring, and Chrysalis is playing Fanatical Offering, Ichor Wellspring, and lands that tap for 3 mana.
And with that,
see you in the next one.
Okay, it's time for the final. We have Pit, Inside Out combo. We know this guy. And Quack on Altatron, because we of course have seen him winning just now. So they are both undefeated right now. And this Pit guy, haven't we seen him before?
I think we've seen him before. Like, but I don't remember. Like, where was it? From where do we know him?
It must have been maybe in the final of the first game day?
Of the Paupergeddon, you mean?
of the much larger tournament, which is the Lega Pauper Lipsia, of course.
The much more relevant, at least, yes, it's Pit. We've seen him. He's on 5-0, and he has brought his beloved Inside Out deck again. And to be honest, I'm also in awe by now, because it took me a time to realize that they're actually running 4 Ponder, 4 Preordain, and 4 Brainstorm. Not even the boldest of control decks pull this kind of deck style off. But Pit does, and he is casting them all over the place, starting with a Brainstorm in this game.
So this is combo versus combo, but of course a much faster combo versus a much slower combo. So in theory, I think Pit is feeling comfortable with the pairing at least. So there's no like inside out combo is much worse against matchups that can actually remove the tireless tribe. So yeah, he's right now pondering, decides to shuffle. So he's setting up his combo. Let's see if he manages to find all of his land drops and the pieces that he needs.
And interestingly, Quack now has to show us like the full spectrum of their deck's capability. We see the early tribe here. Because in the last game, Tron, the Tron deck could play like full value control and just win at any point. And here it's the other way around. They have no interaction with tribe, and now we already have a tribe on the board, no blocker up. Like what are we? Are we gonna see oh my goodness, there's inside out, okay. Yes. And now we have how many cards in Pit's hand? That's like 6 cards, right? So that represents a push of 24 power. God. We see them falling. We know this pattern. These cards are not being cast.
5.
They're being discarded. It's plus 20 1. And it's over. I'm sorry. I didn't even give you a chance to say a word, Moritz. I mean, Quack must have known it from the get-go. I mean, what do you make of this? You go to the final, you're 4-0, you unpack your cards, you look at them, you love them, they're double-sleeved, and then this happens.
I mean, double-sleeved, Quack triple-sleeves their deck.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, because those are valuable art sleeves that also need to be sleeved.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think horrible for Quack. That is one of the pairings I think that is maybe the worst pairing that you can get. Like a combo deck that can just kill you on turn 3 easily. And you cannot even assemble Tron until then, which is crazy. And as we've pointed out before, the removal package that Quack runs is really, really slim. Like almost none. They have a makeshift munitions, they have scatter shot, and 1 KCS in the sideboard.
But they do have last rights.
They do have last rights, so maybe the only avenue is be on the play, then last rights turn 3 for the whole hand.
I think that's a legit line, actually. Maybe the only line.
Maybe that's the only line. But yeah, definitely for Quack, that's a really hard time. They're thinking about sideboarding. What do you think Inside Out will bring?
Let's see, Inside Out. I mean, first I want to comment on the abomination we have brought up on humanity, Moritz. Like this league where like every second game is like a combo versus pile versus inevitable. After turn 3, the game's teams decided. Like, where is the mid-range, people? Please bring the mid-range to the finals.
Funny that you say that. Like one of the people attending, shout out to Dennis, who also plays quite well, often in our league, also said that they bring white weenies and they say like, come on, like I'm white weenies and I play after combo pile. This is horrible, man.
Yeah, I remember it from the last day. Okay, so back to the boarding. I mean, what does Pit need to do? Like he faced no defense. So what is his boarding even targeting?
I think maybe definitely the red spells that deal damage, so the KCS and the makeshift, but
so they could bring in the 1 blue blast they have, the 3 blue blasts they have. They already have 3 dispel in the main, and they have their 4 circular logic and a protection spell that is blacksmith skill. And prismatic strands. So they're kind of set up to beat a bolt or 2, right?
I think for the classical removal, and as you know that there's no spot removal, so there's only damage removal with KCS and with the makeshift. So I think you don't even board in the counter for that because Tron also doesn't rely on red spells otherwise. So maybe you just take in 2 more strands because they are you can discard them for free, so which pumps your creature, and if then they put another damage on top of that, you can just flashback.
Okay.
thing.
So like we see Quack here. I don't know what's the earliest that Ultatron can combo off. Please leave a comment. Leave a post here if you can share this knowledge. So let's assume that maybe turn 5 they can pull it off plus minus 1 turn. Before that, I think Last Rites is a banger actually. Like if you can cast that card, discard 3 and just pick apart the relevant pieces, that could set you, like that could give you a lot of time or even destroy Pitt's hand entirely. And if not, yeah, you have to rely on this one shot scatter shots and Krags to. But Pitt is so used to beating these kind of cards, right? I feel like only Last Rites could save him here.
It's so funny, like, because the Ultatron version that Quack is running is, of course, like a meta call in a way, because there are Weather the Storms in the sideboard and Fangren Marauder. So basically, Quack is saying, hey, I just need to gain a little bit of life. I don't really care about your board, and then I win. By running almost 0 like mass removal. So, and the mass removal they run is a mass removal that is only relevant really late in the game, basically, or like in the mid game, let's say. So the meta call from Quack is basically the fast decks, I just need to gain little bit of life, and for all the other decks, I win by comboing anyway.
But maybe maybe the green cards in Quack's sideboard are better than we thought. Like if you have 4 Weather the Storms in the deck and 2 Fangren Marauder, chances are good that with the Tron mana you can like get up to 30 or even 40 life on your turn 5 or 6. I think it's at least realistic. And maybe you can get out of reach of the tribe deck.
That's actually a very good point. The only problem is that if the inside-out combo player is playing around it, then you have a storm count of 0 the turn you win.
No, at least you have to cast inside out, but
I mean, yeah, okay, you have a storm count of 1, so that's 6 life. But you're right. I think Quack, if they can gain life early in the game, like 6 life of a Weather, then suddenly the inside-out combo player has to run through a lot of more hoops.
I mean, then the inside-out needs their awesome
white out
card that can turn their lands also into discardable cards. And I don't know what the exact math is, but I would assume that Quack getting up to 26 life is maybe gives them 2 turns, but doesn't seal the deal. But them going towards like 30, 35, maybe 40 life. I'm not sure if Pitt can punch through this. Maybe with the white out then in the end. On a later turn where they get a lot of lands back to hand. Okay.
And
maybe
Titus Tribe is a 1/1. That's also a clock, no?
And maybe Quack dies turn 2, you know? Could also happen. Then all this talking is just in vain.
It would be so funny. Like both of us haven't seen the match, so we don't really know. But it would be very funny that if they would have taken more time shuffling than actually playing.
It's possible. It's certainly possible.
So Quack kept the hand. They have 6 cards in hand, so they were on 1 mulligan. And they now go for Expedition Map. So they want to assemble Tron as soon as possible, because as soon as that is happening, they are probably drawing a lot.
Oh, and at least they have a munitions and a Mirror Retriever in hand. So I think the dying on turn 2 or 3 is maybe off the charts.
And we see also the Conduit Pylons. So there's also fixing involved now.
But also slower mana.
Ooh, getting rid of the Prism. That's interesting. Because they have another Prism in hand, right?
Oh yeah, they do.
Yes.
I mean, right now finding lands is just so much more important than finding artifacts, I think. And they even deploy the Prism.
Ooh, they don't crack the map, yeah.
Yeah, they want to find out what they draw naturally to find the then missing piece with the Expedition Mat.
That's true.
I would assume. But they have not found the land. So right now they cannot. They have a draw step
land drop, yeah.
and another cantrip artifact to find their 3rd land drop, and I think they're maybe at that point they need to crack the map. Okay, whatever. On Pitt's side, I see Preordain in hand.
Yeah, Ash Barons found an island, which they're now gonna play. and there's a Flaring Pain in hand, which is interesting. So Tireless Tribe has been deployed. So again.
Oh no.
And a Preordained. So I think Pit is. I haven't counted the cards, but I think there are like 3 or 4 cards in hand right now. And with the draw, it's 5.
But can Pit beat a Mer Retriever as a blocker? He can, right? Like Escape Tunnel would do it.
Escape Tunnel and Wedding Invitation, but I think still playing the blocker here. Ooh.
Yes, Escape Tunnel comes in untapped, so there is a chance. Oh, and he doesn't even...
I don't know if he drew a land, but he's gonna find the mine now.
But he decides against playing the Retriever. That's a great risk.
And against finding a tower.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, I think
there must be some logic behind this. But I think the decision is to put Pit on not having Inside Out in hand right now. Like opening the door for 1 turn to at least get the land drops, because without that, probably no chance to win anyways. If they have Inside Out now, it's over.
Top for Quok.
But does Pit have Inside Out? That's the big question. And do they have enough cards to discard?
5 cards in hand they have. So there needs to be an Inside Out now. Because for Quok, there's no interaction left. There is no mana, so...
Brainstorm into
nothing, I think.
Into Island, into some blue spells. Deep Analysis, one of them. What is Flaring Pain for in this match?
Maybe he thinks that Quok is running some sort of fog effect. Maybe some Moments piece. But I think the Altatron lists don't do that anymore. Like, I think it's more of the Flickertron that runs the Moments piece.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an attack, and Quok.
Quok survives.
Quok is probably letting out.
Oh my goodness! And
that's a tower. That's Tron.
Oh, he fetched for the mine, and then.
And with the candy trail, found the tower.
Okay, that's how you do it, you know.
That's how you do it. It's just a skill difference. Oh, and now you have the makeshift. Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible.
And that could kind of lock the board if it resolves, no?
I mean, if it resolves, yeah. Pit has blue mana open. And they run Circular Logic.
I mean, but this just shows Quok's prowess. I would die out there, leaving myself open to this tribe, to this single tribe.
So there is the makeshift hitting the board right now. Pit is thinking.
They have a discard outlet for Circular Logic and like 3 cards in the grave, which I think is not enough. But they impulse.
They impulse, so they're searching for...
For what?
Maybe for another tribe? I don't know. Let's see if Quok decides to shoot now. Ooh. Because he can definitely afford to. He even takes the Retriever to shoot, which is also interesting.
But why is he shooting now?
Because you're taxing 1 card, and suddenly it's not lethal anymore if it's Pit's turn.
But Pit can just counter.
Okay, see, it's like
in response.
You cannot counter you can counter by discarding a card, but if in Tireless Tribe you are not very card positive. So if you can get rid of a card like that, you're doing it all the time. Because in theory, you could also wait for the Inside Out to switch the attack and toughness, because then the toughness is always 1. But I think Quok wants no shenanigans to be happening.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could do it with Inside Out on the stack. That's what I was thinking, you know? Just like, why do it right now?
I think Quok just wants to be double and triple sure, because Quok knows that if there's no Tireless Tribe on board, then there's no chance of messing up.
No worries after that, yes.
Yeah, I think it's literally a peace of mind kind of decision.
Okay, and we see the Mer Retrievers being sacked just for value purposes again. And what I also like a lot is this combo deck is now pulling off like its control lines. Like we've seen the mid-range lines in the previous matchup, and now we see like munitions as a control piece against the combo. It's like, I don't know, we get displayed the full beauty of it, right?
Yes. So I think Quack right now is kind of in a comfortable spot. I'm not sure if they have means to redraw, but at least they found the Blood Fountain, so they can cycle a card, they can get back the Retriever. They cycle a land now. They want to probably see more draw spells. This is also fine. Having more artifacts to shoot is really good in this matchup.
And I mean, as long as Quack is not running out of mana to use these munitions, they're not running out of gas to shoot down anything.
I think the idea of Quack was to do it now, so there's no Prismatic Strands line. So if you get rid of it now, then there's definitely no threat with no Prismatic Strands weirdness happening. So I think making double or triple sure, and I think Pit just drew the inside out. Which is now, of course, kind of worthless.
Okay, so Pit must know this interaction. Like, he must have faced before a makeshift munitions. And I wonder what their plan is. I mean, they have 3 blue blasts in the sideboard. I hope they have brought it in, because otherwise this munitions will probably destroy the whole game. Do you think they brought it in? They have one in hand, sorry. They do have one in hand. I have a blue blast in hand, no?
I think it's a Circular Logic and a Preordain.
Really?
Yeah. And a Squadron Hawk.
No, this is the Brainstorm. The Ponder, but in hand.
Okay, let's see what they have in hand. He's leaning back a lot, so we don't know. If they have a blue blast in hand, then definitely, hit the munitions. And then now you're just assembling your stuff, so you can get rid of munitions, then deploy the next. Going down to 16.
And Quack cannot save this munitions if it's being targeted by a blue blast, right?
No, and it can also not be retrieved by the Mill Retriever, which is a bummer, but only fair. I would say.
Such abysmal wording on this card, man. Okay, so I mean, Quack has a like impressive looking defense, but it's also like very shaky. You know, it can go anytime.
It's very brittle. So, but he's now cantripping and.
So Red Blast. Now he finds the answer for the answer. Let's see if it's in time. It's still on the top of his deck, though.
Oh, but it's the second card from the top. I wonder what he instead wants to draw.
Something probably to play before, like another Wellspring or something.
Yes.
And now Pit kind of missed the window, but he can probably counter back, right? He can blue blast and protect it with Circular Logic
but
or stuff.
It's so expensive. In the inside-out combo deck, it's so expensive to go down cards.
So why do you think he didn't blast it right away?
You still haven't fully convinced me that he has it in hand.
There is a second Chrysalis in his hand.
So...
No, you see it? The second from the left.
It's a Brainstorm.
No.
From the left. That's okay.
I've had this card in hand so many times.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll see it. But I think Quack now is very comfortable.
Yeah, he is now his mine that looks like a tower again, but it's 2 mana up.
The next time I see him with this card, we should donate him other cards for this. Yeah, okay, it is really a Hydro, and now
there's really a Red Blast.
Yes.
And what's there?
Dispel!
It's really a Dispel. Okay. Yes.
I mean, both of the players have to do what they just have done. So I think the goal of Pit now is to ASAP be card positive. So I think they have a Squadron Hawk in play, so they deploy the Tireless Stripe now, so next turn they can Squadron Hawk, have a bunch of cards suddenly in hand, and I think they're quite good setup. Like, Quack really has to find an answer now.
Yeah, what
really
answer?
Now.
I'm thinking life gain first. Like, find a Weather the Storm, set up a good storm count, and at least get yourself to over 30 life.
Okay. This is huge. Drawing 3 cards is really good.
2 spells cast.
Land.
3 swamps.
4 lands. It's 4 lands. He drew for turn a land. He drew 3 lands from the Fanatical Offering.
My goodness. Okay.
Because I also think a Weather the Storm would have been GG now, I think. Like, a Weather the Storm would have brought him.
It would at least prolong the game.
It would at least, not GG, but prolong the game. They still have a Blood Fountain and a Mirror Retriever, so...
Okay, easy. We're back at blocking now. It's all easy. Like, every time I think it's over, but there's a blocker. What do you do now, Moritz, against the blocker?
I think you have an escape tunnel. Maybe.
And Pit has 7 cards in hand, right? So the chances of them having one of these unblockable cards, pretty good.
Let's see what they do. They probably...
counter it!
Ooh, they circular logic the Mirror Retriever for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think Quack...
So it's countered unless
you pay X, where X is the amount cards in your graveyard.
And Quack does not pay 9.
But instead goes to retrieve them both from the graveyard. 1, 2, and then plays out probably...
How did they do that?
A Blood Fountain.
Okay, easy. 2 blockers. Okay. We're back to unblockable. It's so exciting, guys. I mean, come on. Please write in the comments if you can still sit on your table, on your chairs or tables or whatever.
Okay, so Squadron Hawk, find all the other Squadron Hawks. Then cantrip to find your unblockable escape tunnel or wedding invitation. That's now the goal for Pit, I think. Let's see if he has a brainstorm or a ponder or something. I'm not fully sure what they have in hand. They have a preordain.
And Quack is tapped out, so Pit knows there is no unhandy weather incoming now. So they can make their own math, which is good. Okay, a preordain.
Preordain finds, I think, a tribe. The tribe he bottoms, I think, because...
I think it's another cantrip and another preordain. Cast preordain. Digging for escape tunnel, right?
A brainstorm and something different. So he's gonna put the brainstorm on top.
Have an island? Yes, he does.
Okay, passing turn. Quack gets to see another day. Let's see what they find. Wow, they ripped 4 lands and then an expedition map. Awesome.
And also interestingly, Pit didn't play their lands, so at some point you probably just add cards in hand.
So you probably search for another tower. So yeah, you have as much mana available as possible. I'm not sure if Quack still has an Eviscerator's Insight in the grave. I'm not sure. I think they have only played the Fanatical Offerings. So currently 4 lands in hand. Let's see if they can find some... Yeah, they're mapping... Finding a Candy Trail on top, which they're gonna leave because it gains life, cantrips, and scries. So I think Candy Trail is not so bad right now. It's one of the... It's not ideal, but it's one of the better things.
And I mean, Quack has seen enough days to play 8 lands.
And that's crazy. Like but we were so fixated on the removal part that we forgot that you can just block.
I mean, you can if it works.
Escape tunnel.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he ripped an escape tunnel off the brainstorm. Oh no.
There's problems incoming.
He's thinking about what to put back, because realistically what you can do, you can put back the Squadron Hawks, play 1 more Hawk.
Go up even 1 more card.
You go up even 1 more card.
But then you don't have enough mana for Inside Out.
There's the escape tunnel.
And this is still risky, because if Quack has weather, this is over.
Yeah.
This is the second spell cast. Now Pitts puts all in this attack.
I think he has a whiteout in hand also. So there's a plus 1 more hand.
Ooh, that's strong one.
1, 2.
He keeps the
3.
Blue Blast in hand for now.
Because there could also be a scatter shot. Scatter shot would also be, but that is with Storm. So they sacrifice a land, return whiteout to the hand, then discard whiteout.
And
oh my god, it's over.
Scoops. They have no interaction apparently, or they don't want to show it.
They had only lands in hand.
Right.
Yes, Quack was completely stranded on lands.
I mean, GG. You see handshakes even from the people across the table, and you see Pit taking it down again. Like, back-to-back 5-0 in the league.
That's... What can we say? That's incredible.
I mean, that's a 10-0 score in the scoreboard. That's like 2 t-shirts from Jakob's store. That's, I don't know, that's eternal glory.
Undefeated. Pitt has been undefeated in the league so far with inside-out combo. And this time even, like, Quack put up a battle in game 2. Like, this was no free game. Like, Quack found your munitions, Quack removed the first tireless tribe. I think being stranded on so many lands at the end was then kind of, Yeah, that was brutal. But I think you see from Quack, like, he is always putting up a fight. I would assume that the first game they would put up a fight as well. They just died on turn 2. Yes. But if you sit across them, you could assume they would play for their win, and they did here. But you could see that like all their answers, they were dependent on Pitt not answering back. Like this munition looked good for a while until Pitt had the blue blast. This weather line is possible until Pitt has even more cards. And so whatever Quack would throw in the way of Pitt would maybe buy them more time or look good for the moment, but he never got to the point to close this one off. And Pitt eventually converted that. What an incredible game. Congrats to both, of course. They are both finalists, so they are both kind of like Quack is now 4-1, which is also really awesome. They played very well. And I think nothing more to say. We see if Pitt can, we'll see in the third game day if Pitt can stay undefeated.
I mean, I wanted to say congrats to everyone. We always only have the table 1. We get overexcited about it, and I assume if the camera was on any other table, we would get as excited as well. And so we just hope for you all to join this window, and so we could comment. And I mean, come on, put something in Pitt's way.
Yes, please. Someone match him against Burn. Someone match him against the deck that plays Lightning Bolt, please. Okay. I think we had such a blast. If you want to follow along for the next game days, you can just subscribe to our channel. Go to legapauperlipsia.de for information on our league. And we had a blast. Hope to see you on the next one. Bye.